What are you doing? Go shovel off the pond so Lou and I can skate. You've cleared all the snow off the pond? Excellent. Shovel the snow off the pond so we can ice skate, okay, kiddo? Hey, excellent job on the snow shoveling, eh? We had ourselves one fine time out there because of you, especially Lou here. Huh? Oh. Hi. Huh? Oh. Now what? Hello again. Not now, kiddo. Nancy, hi. What the heck happened out there? Nancy, hey, got a proposition for you. Since Lou here's too chicken to go mano a mano with me out there in the ice fishing shack. Nancy, hey, got a proposition for you. Ever been ice fishing? Hey, little Miss Fisherman, what can I do for you? Well, Lou here's a grad student, art major of all things. You're probably gonna need a jackhammer and some hydrochloric acid to clean his room, eh? Not hardly. I've known Lou for all of, what? About a week, I guess. I checked in right after he did. We sat down after breakfast one morning and discovered that this fox and geese game is pretty darn fun. I've been whipping his tail ever since. Heck no. Yep, sure is. I came for the ice fishing. Course, knowing there's a renegade wolf running around is kinda dampened my enthusiasm. Just heard it. Every night since I've been here, in fact. Gets creepier each time. Bad luck, that's all. No, the only thing that bothers me about this place is the wolf. They should get rid of it, and the sooner the better. They didn't put up with wolves prowling around this place 40 years ago, and they shouldn't put up with them now. You'll be singing a different tune when it has some little kid for breakfast than has you for lunch. Trust me, if something bad can happen, chances are it eventually will, dude. Hey, I know what you can do. Shovel the snow off the skating pond so we can do some speed skating. Lou here thinks he's faster than me. You may have youth on your side, my friend, but I've been working construction since before you were born, which means I am more fit now than you will ever be. Get that pond shoveled so we can settle this, okay, kiddo? Just do it, Nancy, please. Beating this guy at fox and geese is getting so old. By the slimmest of margins. What's up, kiddo? By the slimmest of margins. Which is why now he's too chicken to go mano a mano with me out there in the ice fishing shack. Gimme a break. You ever been ice fishing? Excellent. Well, you're about to. Here's the deal. I need some competition, so I want you to go out there and try to catch a bigger fish than I caught yesterday, which means you gotta catch a 2-foot northern pike. Now, it's a bit of a hike out to the lake, but the shack is solar heated, so it's nice and warm inside. So what do you say, kiddo? You game? Hey, give her a break. She's just trying to make pleasant conversation. You wouldn't be saying that if you were the one who'd slipped on those ice-covered stairs or eaten that bad potato salad or had those 4 flat tires. It was the wolf. Tried to jump up into your room but didn't quite make it. Hey, that wolf does a lot of stuff wolves aren't supposed to do. That's why it needs to be hunted down. Could have fooled me. What do you want? I can sleep anytime, anywhere. That's what happens when you got a clear conscience. Oh, brother. I walked out to Icicle Lake to see how you were doing in the fishing shack, only there wasn't any fishing shack. There wasn't even a lake. The ice was all busted up like somebody dropped a bomb on it. What do you mean, what do I mean? Somebody decked you with an ice ball and blew up the lake? Holy moly. What? You're kidding. So my gear's ruined? Wait a minute. Ollie ice fishes? Go ask him for a hook and line, and don't take no for an answer. Yeah, that's me. When I was a kid, this place was practically my second home. My late grandmother, Tilly Wentworth, used to own it. Har har. I lied. See, about 2 years ago, just before she died, my grandmother sold this place to Albert Moequay without telling anyone in her family. From what I've heard about Moequay, I'm pretty sure he bullied her into selling. I think he cheated her, and he cheated us, and that it's high time somebody... I had nothing to do with that explosion, Lou's window, the food poisoning, the icy stairs, none of that stuff. You ask me, it's karma. The Moequays are just getting what's coming to them. You know that pyramid thing on the table over there by the entrance to the dining room? If you fool around with it until nothing but pigs show on the outside, this compartment will open up and inside will be this round magnetic thing that used to be Trapper Dan's special master key. Just hold it up by the needle and a hidden door'll pop open. Who knows? No, my bratty cousin Elwood told me it was filled with skeletons, and I never worked up the nerve to go in and see for myself. And maybe it was filled with skeletons. I mean, let's face it, living all by himself way out here in the wild, winter after long dark winter, Trapper Dan was probably stark raving bonkers. There wasn't? Oh. Well, I'm afraid you're out of luck. You know, Grandma Tilly once told me that if you turn the top of the pyramid 45 degrees, then fill all the boxes on the outside with one kind of animal, then another kind of animal, until you do that for all 4 animals, she said if you do that, you'd find a journal in there written by Trapper Dan himself. I was a kid. What would I want to read some crazy old coot's journal for? I guess. I know I didn't take it out of there. What's the matter with you? Afraid of cooties? Let her use your snowshoes. You bet. Have a seat. Here are the rules. The white pieces are the geese. The black piece is the fox. The goal of the geese is to corner the fox so he can't move, while the goal of the fox is to gobble up geese so that they can't corner him. The geese can only move forward along a line to the next point, either directly forwards, diagonally, or sideways. Same thing for the fox, except when he's next to a goose that has an empty spot directly behind it. He can jump over it, right, gobble it up, and remove it from the board. You just take turns and play until somebody wins and somebody loses. I'll be the fox. Ready? So what can I do for you? Fine by me. Now you're talking. Have a seat. Ready? Go right ahead. Step right up. Atta girl. I guess it would be Mars. You know, that whole God of War thing? Glad you dropped by. Anytime you want to talk, just wake me up. See you later. You want to talk? You know where to find me. Drop by anytime. Hasta siesta. Okie dokie. The good news is you're okay. The bad news? No more ice fishing. Okay. No idea. Well, hello there. You must be the new maid Ollie told us about. I'm Bill Kessler. This guy's Lou Talbot. What's your name again? Nancy, come over here. Smart move. Very good. My turn. Good job. You're pretty good. Kudos. Uh-oh. You blew it. Not smart, Nancy. You're going down. Me next. Oopsie. I win. You win. Victory is mine. Play again? How about another game? Want to go again? Ah, you beat me. I lose. That was not my finest hour. That's not allowed. You can't do that. No can do. Well, would you look at that? His eyes turned red. That is some pig you got yourself there. Another win, another set of red eyes. You lose. No red eyes this time. That you making all that noise over there, Nancy? Keep it down, would you, Nancy? Lou's trying to think. Nancy, you sure make a lot of noise for being such a slip of a thing. Good game. It's all luck. Nice game. Nice. That was fun. What's that racket? Lou, is that you clicking? Nancy, I came down here looking for Ollie, but then I heard all this noise and thought I'd better check it out. Door got stuck again, huh? Say, you look kind of bedraggled. Are you all right?
If you'd like to learn more about wolves and their preservation, please visit Wolf Haven International at www.wolfhaven.org.
Hello? I've got it, sweetheart. Yes, it is. Honey, you're so suspicious. You mean Gassicle Leak Lodge? Well, we had just gone ice skating, so we decided to warm up in the sauna. So we were sitting in there, and everything was fine until both of us started feeling a little woozy. And the next thing we knew, that Russian skier came in. The point is, he told us he smelled gas and thought we should get out. So we did. That poor skier. By the time he helped us get out of there, he was almost as green as we were. Horrible. And it was our honeymoon. Oops, the shuttle's here, sweetheart. We're off to Aspen. Kind of a second first honeymoon. Oh, we will. Bye! You've reached the happy home of Brenda and Derek Southwaite. In the meantime, we set the alarm, so if you're calling because you're thinking about burglarizing us, think again. police detective I've hired as a consultant. I put his number on the phone there at the lodge. In fact, I think you know him. Tino Balducci? I gotta go. My lawyer's here. Good luck, you guys, and keep me posted. Coming! Oh, and Nancy, I want you to call this police detective I've hired as a consultant. I put his number on the phone there at the lodge. In fact, I think you know him. Tino Balducci? I gotta go. My lawyer's here. Good luck, you guys, and keep me posted. Coming! Was anyone in the bunkhouse when it exploded? Oh, that's where Elsa and Becky had been living. Guess it was a good thing they quit after all. Elsa was my maid and Becky was my cook. Does the sheriff have any idea why the bunkhouse exploded? Oh, that does it. Nancy, you have to find out who or what is behind these incidents, and you have to do it fast. My dad runs a whole chain of resorts, Ollie. If you think I'm going to admit to him that I can't handle running just one, guess again. Besides, Nancy comes highly recommended, and I'm sure she's got a foolproof plan for getting to the bottom of this. Don't you, Nancy? You want to be my maid? Oh, yeah! That's an excellent idea. All right, you're my new maid. In fact, you're my new cook, too. Well, that way, Ollie can stop pretending he can even read a recipe, let alone follow one. You'll have even more excuses to talk to the guests, and I won't have to pay anyone. Nancy, I left a set of employee instructions in your room. They're also in the computer in the lobby. They'll tell you everything you need to know about being a maid and a cook at the lodge. Now, we're not taking any more guests until this accident thing is cleared up, so I want both of you to make sure that the 4 guests we have are well taken care of, especially that Olympic-caliber cross-country skier from Fredonia, Yanni Volstaya. The flair he brings to the lodge is just what I need to attract the European jet-setting crowd. It's still around? Well, do whatever you have to, Ollie. Hello? You know who's behind the accident? Oh, Nancy! I know. I was a little disappointed to hear that it had failed to pinpoint the culprit, but Tino said he's still analyzing the data, whatever that means. So, have you cracked the case, as Tino likes to say? What's up? I know why you're calling, but before I give you the combination to the display case, you're going to have to do something for me. I'm glad you called. Ollie tells me Guadalupe Camillo checked out. Well, good riddance, right? I mean, he said she was an environmental nut job. In fact, he said he wouldn't be surprised if she's the one who caused those accidents and blew up the bunkhouse. I certainly can, but I'm not going to until you do something for me. What's this I hear about Lou Talbot leaving? Listen, before I forget, Ollie called and said that one of the guests, that Bill guy, Kessler, right? Apparently he's been agitating for someone to compete against him in some kind of ice fishing contest. Good, because as I said before, remember what I said before? You and Ollie are to keep what few guests we have at the lodge happy. If they want you to go ice fishing, I want you to go ice fishing. So, you and Ollie are to keep what few guests we have at the lodge happy. If they want you to go ice fishing, I want you to go ice fishing. Are we clear on that? What else is going on? Good. Now, okay, I mentioned to Ollie once that I thought he maybe deserved a raise, and now every time I turn around, he's all like, "Where's the raise you promised me? Where's the raise you promised me?" Doesn't he realize I have a few other things to think about right now? I swear, sometimes that crabby little whiner drives me nuts. Or was that Bears? Anyway, what else is going on? Why not? 2 heads are always better than one, and I find him to be very knowledgeable and kinda charming. He didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did say that that's all water under the bridge. In fact, he didn't go into a lot of detail, but he did say that that's all water under the bridge. Besides, I insist that if and when you're stumped about something, you ask Tino to help you out. That's what I'm paying him for. Agreed? Good, good. Keep me posted. I insist that if and when you're stumped about something, you ask Tino to help you out. That's what I'm paying him for. You can trust him. He said that because of what happened on that train, he learned the error of his ways, and he's a better person for it, okay? I didn't mean he couldn't talk about them with you. Ugh. I'll give him a call. As for the accidents, the first thing that happened was the worst. The Faringdale family and Becky the cook all came down with food poisoning and had to be hospitalized. Somehow, the potato salad got contaminated, although Becky swears it wasn't because of anything she did. Then Carl Jenkins slipped on the stairs outside and broke his leg. Then Lou Talbot's window was broken. Then Elsa the maid's tires were slashed. Then the phone wires were cut. And then... Oh yeah, and then the Southwaites were almost overcome by fumes when gas started leaking into the sauna. No one yet. But my lawyers are afraid it's just a matter of time and are trying to figure out what preventative measures to take. I'm not sure about anything. That's why you're there, to sort everything out before something else happens. I could if I could remember it. Of course I did. It'll just take me a while to remember where I wrote it down. But I'm not even going to try to remember it until you do all the things you're supposed to do there at the lodge. All I can think about right now is keeping that place going. It'll come to me. After you do all your chores. I hear Ollie asked you to do something on the snowmobile for him. Have you done that yet? Well, if you get on the ball, I'll get on the ball, okay? I'm going to fax you a survey that Tino came up with. He says you're to fill most of it out by observing the people staying at the lodge, rather than just asking them the questions outright. He says that would put them on their guard. When it's all filled out, fax it to Tino. The results will help him come up with a profile that will help you to determine which of our guests is responsible for the accidents. Excellent. Well, Tino does, so I'm faxing it to you even as we speak. In fact, it's done. So why don't you go get it right now? I'll wait. Lions, tigers, bears, wolves, they're all a huge insurance risk for someone in my business. So I don't care how Ollie does it. I just want that wolf gone. ASAP. Really? Last I looked, they were all there. I think. I can't remember what they were pictures of, and I sure don't know why they'd be missing. First the accidents, now someone's stealing from me? Nancy, you've got to find out what's going on there. If you don't, I'll never be able to convince my dad I'm not a loser. Ever. They've been deleted? Well, I didn't delete them. Freddie. No, but you know how kids are these days. Always hacking into computers, programming them to spread viruses and steal passwords and blow up the world. I still say it was Freddie. Last week I called that Snow Princess game she's always playing idiotic. I think it hurt her feelings. But she'd just gotten done plastering me with snowballs. What'd she expect me to say? That felt great. Do it again? That is something I am not at liberty to discuss. I didn't say that. Why do you ask? If the championship is held nearby, which as far as I know, still hasn't been decided. You think someone's been causing these accidents to run me out of business, so they can buy the lodge from me on the cheap? Up to something like what? What? You mean he could be causing these accidents in order to run me out of business, then buy the lodge on the cheap? And a pretty nasty one at that. What? Radium? Please do. In the meantime, let's not tell anybody else about this, okay? Who do I look like, Professor Peabody? What would I want a Geiger counter for? Look, see if you can find out if being around things with radium eyes presents a clear and present danger, okay? And in the meantime, there's no need to tell anybody else about this, right? Excellent. That's a relief. I'll have somebody remove them as soon as I get back. And? Go on. You fell through the ice? You're supposed to be investigating accidents, not having them. I'd like to believe that, Nancy, but I just can't afford to. I'm in enough trouble with my insurance company already. Oh, but I do mean, you're fired. You crashed Ollie's snowmobile? My insurance company's not gonna like this one bit. Well, Nancy, can you guess what I'm about to say to you? You're fired. It's past noon and Ollie says all the guest rooms still haven't been cleaned. Now get cracking. A clean guest is a happy guest, Nancy. Do the housekeeping. Now. I'm fine. Just imagining what my insurance company is going to do if they hear that the lodge is chock full of radioactive eyeballs just kind of took my breath away. That's all. It's past noon, Nancy. You need to get the housekeeping done, okay? I cannot tell you how awful it was. All 5 people became violently ill at roughly the same time. But were they all in the same room? Of course not. They were spread out all over the lodge. Poor Elsa was cleaning for days. And the odor? Oh my gosh. Anyway, Nancy, you said you wanted to be my maid, so act like one and clean the rooms. Nancy, you have to clean whatever guest rooms need cleaning, or pretty soon I won't have any guests, understand? You forgot to prepare breakfast, Nancy. That's unacceptable. So I want you to drop whatever you're doing and go to the kitchen right now so you don't miss the next meal, too. I hear that you neglected to cook breakfast. That is a no-no. Now go to the kitchen right now and wait till it's time to fix the next meal. I'm counting on you, Nancy. Ollie says you never showed up to cook breakfast. So to make sure you show up to cook lunch, I want you to go directly to the kitchen and stay there till meal service is over. Got that? Good. Now remember, when you're done filling it out, fax it directly to Tino. And he wants you to call him before you do so he can turn his machine on. You failed to serve lunch. Cooking is part of your job. What were you thinking? Now drop whatever you're doing and go to the kitchen right now so you don't fail to serve the next meal too. Ollie says he had to cook lunch. That's your job, remember? Maybe you should just go to the kitchen right now so you can be all ready to cook the next meal, okay? Where were you when it was time to cook lunch? Nope. Actually, I don't care. Just go to the kitchen right now so I can be sure you're not going to miss the next meal, too. It's freaking out my guests, which means it's hurting my bottom line, especially on top of everything else that's been happening. You didn't cook dinner. What few guests I have were furious, to say nothing of starving. Now go to the kitchen and get ready to cook. And please, do it right. Ollie says you blew off cooking dinner. You can't do that, Nancy. Now go to the kitchen and stay there until you've made my guests the best meal they've ever had in their lives. You were supposed to make dinner and you didn't. Now get into that kitchen and stay there until it's time to make the next meal. And don't let it happen again. Look, Ollie's had a lot of experience with varmints or whatever he calls them, so I have to assume that he knows best. In fact, I think he used to hunt wolves for food. Ollie tells me he's been having to cook some of the meals because it got to be mealtime and you were nowhere around. Please, Nancy, go to the kitchen, do a fabulous job cooking the next meal, and cook the rest of the meals from here on out, okay? Cooking all the meals is your job, Nancy. Now get into the kitchen and be ready to cook up a storm next meal. Or else. You said you'd be my cook, Nancy. I'm counting on you to cook all the meals all the time, not just when you feel like it. So go to the kitchen right now, cook the next meal, and don't skip any more. Got that? I glanced at it. Why? I thought they were fiendishly clever. I mean, who would have thought that what side of the bed I get up on could have something to do with what kind of crime I'm capable of committing? I think Tino's a genius. Don't you? Oh. Well, I appreciate your honesty, but do the survey anyway. Oh, who am I kidding? I thought those questions were ludicrous too. But do the survey anyway, okay? I mean, it can't hurt. It might actually help. And he's charging me extra for it. I expect you to consult with Tino on this case. 2 heads are always better than 1, and I find him to be very knowledgeable and kinda charming. You can trust Tino. In fact, he was man enough to admit that he acted somewhat badly on that train trip you 2 were on. But he said that was all water under the bridge. Besides, I'm paying him, and I want to get my money's worth. So like it or not, you're going to consult with him. Understood? Good. Anything else? Wonderful. Then I can tell my lawyers that the case is closed and come home. You don't? I was hoping I could tell my lawyers that the case is closed and come home. Oh, that. Well, the lodge is probably better off without her in any case. Although she did pay for her stay in advance, and in cash. Cash is good. Oh, well. Anything else to report? Yes, he told me. This is not good, Nancy. When he checked in, he indicated that he was going to stay much longer than this. Maybe his bed was too soft, or maybe it was the food. Oh, Nancy, it wasn't your cooking, was it? Dinosaur bones? There was a dinosaur bone in the lobby? Really? You cracked the case? I can tell the lawyers everything's okay and come home? Well, make sure that what few guests I still have are well treated, okay, Nancy? And please get to the bottom of this thing soon, okay? Tino keeps calling me with all these cockamamie theories, and frankly, I'm starting to think the guy's a bit of a jerk. Yes, no, but he told me he'd been having trouble shooting it, so good for him. Whatever it takes to get rid of it. Let's see. Lou Talbot stayed here last summer, but only very briefly. His car had broken down, and he was waiting for a tow truck. Oh, and Yanni, he was here last winter. He and his trainer, they were checking out places to train. They didn't stay long either. Answers, Nancy. I need answers. One more thing. Ask Yanni if it would be all right if I used his name and picture on the Icicle Creek Lodge website. I mean, when I finally have a website, it would be great publicity, okay? Ask Yanni if it would be all right if I used his name and picture on the Icicle Creek Lodge website. I mean, when I finally have a website, it would be great publicity, okay? Did you ask Yanni about using his picture yet? Darn. Well, thanks for trying. Don't let me down, okay? I have to get going too. Bye. Good. Talk to you soon. What does Bill Kessler know about it? Okay, here's what happened. Apparently, Tilly Wentworth got addicted to the Shop at Home channel and couldn't stop buying things, and pretty soon she was in debt up to her eyeballs. So finally, totally desperate, she went to my father and offered to sell the lodge to him for just enough money to pay off her creditors. But there was one stipulation, that my father never tell her family the real reason she was selling. She was embarrassed. She didn't want her children and grandchildren to discover that she'd squandered their inheritance. So my father bought the lodge from her, and as it turns out, she passed away soon afterwards. My father kept his word and never said anything to her family, even when they started saying that he'd somehow forced her to sell the lodge to him at a ridiculously low price. Well, unfortunately, it's gotta stay that way, so don't tell him. It's what his grandmother wanted. You've gotta be kidding me. Enough! I don't want to hear about it. An underground tunnel that could be 100+ years old practically screams liability risk, and that's the last thing I need right now. So until we get this accident thing settled, I'm going to forget you ever mentioned it. He told you that? I can't believe it. One more thing. Remember, another thing. Somebody keeps calling me from the lodge making chicken noises.
But in this game, The Creature of Kapu Cave, you'll be going to the Big Island of Hawaii, so things will be a little different. For instance, to get from place to place, you'll use a GPS map. The coordinates for 2 locations have been pre-programmed into the map. But to get to other locations, you'll have to find and enter their coordinates into the map yourself. In this game, you can use your cell phone to call Ned Nickerson. He's a really good friend of mine. And you can call the Hardy Boys. In fact, by calling the Hardy Boys, you can actually become one of the Hardy Boys. And by calling me, you can become me. You'll discover that using the phone to switch back and forth like that will come in very handy in this game. There won't be a camera in this game. In this game, you'll have a chance to spend and earn special money called Big Island Bucks. The change purse at the bottom of the screen will tell you how many bucks you have at any given point in the game. When you spend your Big Island Bucks on something, the appropriate amount will automatically be deducted from your change purse. When you earn Big Island Bucks, they will be added to your change purse. When you're ready to start playing, just click on the plane tickets and say aloha. Also, by clicking on Interface Designs, you'll be able to choose how you want the game window to look. You can change the UI skin as often as you like by returning to this option in Game Setup. Big Island Mike and Pua finally made it to safety, and all of us managed to get out of the cave using the lava tube that Mike had discovered. Much to their credit, he and Pua turned themselves in immediately, although it took a while for the authorities to figure out exactly what to charge them with. As for what they had done, here's how Big Island Mike explained it. Desperate to pay off the loan sharks to whom he owed a lot of money, Big Island Mike remembered something. The land the Healy Healy Research Facility was on used to belong to his aunt. She willed it to the foundation that built the facility with the stipulation that the land would go to Mike if and when the Healy Healy ever closed its doors. And so he set out to force the Healy Healy out of business, knowing that once the land was his, he could sell it and pay off all his debts. First, capitalizing on what he knew about pineapples, he used to work for a pineapple grower. Big Island Mike hired Johnny Kudo to steal canisters of pheromones for him. He knew that when sprayed in the jungle, these pheromones would cause an explosion in the population of the tiny and normally benign fritillated flag beetle. To lower their risk of being seen, the Mapu spread the rumor that Connie Ocala was once again prowling the island. Then they sprayed the chemicals, and soon fritillated flag beetles were everywhere. Dr. Kim finally figured out that the weird whispering noise I had heard was the beetles rubbing their little legs together in some kind of greeting ritual. Soon, the beetle larvae, which are practically microscopic, started feeding on the local pineapples, and when it became apparent that something strange was going on with the pineapple crop, the Mapus began circulating the rumor that the Healy Healy was to blame. And their plan almost worked. The rumor made one of the Healy's current owners, Richard Aiken, so nervous that he hired the Hardy Boys to dig up something, anything that he could use to discredit the Mapus and shut them up. And if word had gotten out that Malachi Craven, who it turns out is the one who tore Dr. Kim's camp up in a fit of anger mismanagement, was working with plant mutations, public pressure may have indeed caused the Healy to close its doors. But thanks to Frank and Joe and Dr. Kim and yours truly, the Mapu's plot was exposed, and the frittulated flag beetle population quickly fell to its normal size, as did that of the Norsobeta odorata moth. So, how did I spend the rest of my time on the Big Island? Well, let's just say when it comes to cleaning frass jars, I am an expert. When Beth suggested we head to New Orleans for a short vacation, I thought it was a great idea. The French Quarter, fantastic food, awesome music, friendly people. But all it took was one little side trip to check on a friend of Ned's, and suddenly everything got very strange. A recent death, a musty old mansion, a disturbingly odd curio shop, a garden where only secrets seemed to grow, and something as ancient as it was terrifying. Join me on my next adventure, Legend of the Crystal Skull. As always, your mission is to solve the mystery by stepping into my shoes and deciding my every move. When you're in the center of a room, you can turn around in a circle to see the whole room. Just move your cursor to the left or right edge of the screen and you'll automatically move in that direction. By the way, you can turn off this auto move feature in the Game Setup menu. An arrow pointing forward allows you to go forward, while a back arrow allows you to step back. Sometimes up and down arrows are available too. Give it a try. Find the forward arrow and check out Mr. Woogle Woggle. He's my teddy bear. When you want to turn around, move your cursor to the bottom of the screen until it turns into an arrow that looks like a U-turn or a back arrow, and click. I always use my magnifying glass to scan my surroundings for clues. When it turns red, I know I'm onto something. When your magnifying glass turns into a question mark, you can talk to someone. When it becomes a hand, you can use it to open and close things, pick up objects, and move things around. To see how this works, move your mouse over this scene until the magnifying glass turns red, then click to zoom in. See how the magnifying glass turned into a hand when you rolled it over the key? That means you can pick it up. When you click on an object with the hand cursor, that object gets added to your toolbox. Good work! You're a natural. To see what's in your toolbox, just click on the tool icon at the bottom of the screen, which will light up whenever you've added something new. If the All tab is active, you'll see all the objects you've collected during the game. Now click on the tab with the eye on it. When the eye tab is active, you'll see only those objects which you might want to look at over and over again, like letters or messages. Now click on the Hand tab. When the Hand tab is active, you'll see the objects that you can use to manipulate other objects. Find the key in your toolbox and click on it. See how the cursor turned into the item you clicked on? Use the key to click on the lock on my suitcase and you'll see how good I've gotten at packing. To return an object to your toolbox, just click on the tool icon, then click on the open toolbox and the object will go back into storage. You can close the toolbox by clicking on the square in the upper right-hand corner. In this game, you will be able to take pictures using someone else's camera. The notepad at the bottom of the screen is where I keep reminders to myself. Click on it and you'll see what I mean. If the book tab is active, you'll see my journal, which is where I keep all my observations concerning information I've gathered and people I've met. If you click on the clipboard with a check mark, and if you're a junior detective, you'll see a list of what I need to do. Organized person that I am, once I've done something, I check it off. Questioning suspects is something all detectives need to know how to do. In the game, to get people to talk to you, all you have to do is click on them. Let's say I've clicked on Mr. Woogle Woggle here. Our conversation will appear in the text box below the scene, with his words in blue and my responses in white. Click on a response and see what your suspect says next, like this.
Excuse me, Mr. Giant Person, but you seem to be pretty nosy, especially for someone who hardly even has a nose. I mean, compared to mine.
Excuse me, Mr. Woogle Woggle, but I'm not nosy. I'm just very curious. You think so? Usually people only call me nosy when they're hiding something. And you seem to be pretty gabby, especially for someone who doesn't even have a mouth. If there are a lot of words in the text box, use the scroll box on the left to move the text up and down so you can read along. Before you can start playing, You need to decide whether to play as a junior or senior detective. If you choose junior detective, you'll get more hints than you will if you're a senior detective, and the puzzles will be a little easier. Hi, I'm Nancy Drew. Since you can tell a lot about a person by where he or she lives, I thought I'd introduce myself by showing you my room. As you can see, I keep it pretty neat. Of course, I don't spend that much time in here. I always seem to be off solving mysteries. Anyway, here's my center of operations, my desk. Go ahead and poke around. If you want to know the particulars of how I do what I do, take a look at the book titled How to Be a Detective. It's real helpful, especially if you're new to the mystery-solving business. And be sure to check out my scrapbook. I put memorabilia from all my past cases in there. A lot of them were pretty dangerous and at times really scary. Oh, but don't say anything about that to my dad, okay? He worries about me enough as it is. And whatever you do, read what's in the file called Case File. That will tell you all about the mystery I'm about to try to solve. If you think you're ready to dive into that mystery, just click on the plane ticket and you'll be on your way. The menu screen is your starting point for the game. To access the menu while you're playing the game, just click on the menu icon on the lower left side of the screen. When you open the menu, you'll have several choices. Click on New Game to begin your adventure. Click on Load and Save Game to save your current game or to load a game that you have previously saved. When you click on this option, you may save your current game by typing in a name. For instance, Game 1. Then clicking on Save. You can save up to 35 games. Or you may load a saved game by clicking on the name of the game to highlight it, then clicking on Load. A word to the wise. Periodically save your game, just in case. Click on Continue Game to resume your game. For example, if you saved your game or interrupted gameplay to access the game setup screen, click on Continue Game to start your current game where it left off. When you make a game-ending mistake during the game, and don't worry, everyone does, you will automatically go back to the menu screen. Click on Second Chance, and you'll return to the game where you'll be able to try again. Click on Game Setup to make the volume of voices, music, or special effects more to your liking. You can also turn off closed captioning, the words that appear during the game in the window at the bottom of the screen, and Auto Move, the arrow that appears at the side of some screens that allows you to automatically move in that direction. Click on Game Credits to see the names of all the talented people who helped make this game. Click on Help for tips that will help you play the game. To turn off the game and return to the desktop of your computer, click on Exit Game. If you haven't saved your game, you'll be asked if you want to do so. You won't have an alarm clock in this game, but forget about sleeping in. You're going to be way too busy for that.
Hello? Is this a solicitation? Only because you can be way too nice for your own good, darling. Oh, very clever, sweetie. Gas was leaking from so many places while we were there, it's a wonder the place didn't blow sky high. We started feeling a lot woozy. Actually, I think he was Slovakian. Barely. By that point, the fumes were making us both ill, if you know what I mean. Awful experience. At least the owner had the decency to give us a full refund. Long story short, if you're thinking about going to Icicle Creek Lodge, don't. Bye. Unhappily, we're not at home right now. In fact, we won't be back for a couple of weeks, so why don't you just call back then?
And pick me up a double while you're at it, okay? Yo, sup? Used to be. Now it's just Sybil. Yeah? Oh yeah, sup? Sybil. That's what I'm going to call myself when I audition for Canadian Idol. Rockstar. At least I'm about to be. Who's this? How'd you know I was a maid? Who's this? Oh, yeah, right. It was that wolf. I heard it howling one night, and the next morning I went outside, and it just ripped my tires apart. Every single one of them. That place is jinxed. I had to quit. Working there was just plain dangerous. So, if you're trying to deny my unemployment claim, forget it. I had every right to leave that job. One guy fell down the stairs and broke his leg, his whole family got food poisoning, and now I hear they got bombs going off up there. It's just a bad place to work, you know? My unemployment claim is totally legit. No prob. All I know is he's finally out of my life. Take it from me, do not ever think for 1 second that having a jealous boyfriend is in any way, shape or form a good thing. Because it's not. It's the worst. Got that, Nanook? In fact, I'm writing a song about it. It's called Slash Your Jealousy, Spare My Tires. Get it? Spare My Tires? I'll probably sing it on Canadian Idol. Hey, you want to hear it? Anytime. Oh, well, bad stuff was happening all over the place up there. Well, that is a little freaky, don't you think? Besides, it wasn't just that. L? You found his stupid letters. Okay, so it was Larry.
my insanely jealous ex-boyfriend. He got all crazed when I couldn't take time off to visit him and slashed my tires, the psycho. I blamed it on the wolf so I'd have a legitimate reason to quit and get on the pokey for a while. I just needed some time off and some cash, just enough to jumpstart my career, you know? Because I got talent, I really do. But you're right, I shouldn't have lied like that. Look, I'll contact the unemployment office and tell them the truth, okay?
Hello? Put your socks on in the car, okay? We're late. This better not be a sales call because I really don't have time. After what happened to me and my family, I have no intention of going back there ever, no matter how many freebies you throw in. I thought I made that clear. Put that cookie down and get in the car. Food poisoning thing. It was considerably more than a thing. The three of us had meatloaf, potato salad, and green beans for dinner one night. And by 4 the next morning, we were all sick as dogs and had to be taken to the hospital. We recovered quickly, thank goodness. But the minute we got out, we went straight to the airport. I will never set foot in that lodge again. The worst of it is, I made poor little Susie eat all of her potato salad that night. Eat it, I said. It's cold out. You need the carbs. Now she refuses to eat any kind of potatoes, even French fries. All our friends think she's a freak, and all our friends' mothers think I'm a freak for going to Canada for winter break instead of Disney World like everyone else. Turn that TV off. I have to go. Susie's got a soccer game, and I'm snack mom, only I haven't been to the store yet. Maybe I can sneak out during halftime. Oh my gosh, the orange slices. Susie, get in the car! We have to go right now! You've reached the Farringdales, but we can't talk right now, so leave your name and number and we'll get back to you. Bye!
Halt! Who goes there? Nancy Drew shall not pass unless and until she proves herself worthy by hitting the Snow Princess 10 times. Snowballs only, no ice balls. Snowballs made of ice. If you get hit with one, it can knock you out. So don't throw any or I'll tell my dad. I am the Snow Princess. Prepare to defend yourself. I hit you 10 times. Nancy Drew shall not pass. Woohoo! I win! The Snow Princess is the greatest! You lose. Nancy Drew drinks from the cup of defeat yet again. Victory is mine! Does the Snow Princess rock or what? That's 10 hits. I win. You have defeated the Snow Princess. You may pass. You win. Go before the Snow Princess decides to seek revenge. The Snow Princess surrenders. For now, you won, so you may pass. Gotcha! Take that! Yes! Bullseye! Bingo! Miss me! Not even close. Nina! You can do better than that. Miss me by a mile. Ouch! Hey! Ow! Now you're gonna get it. Lucky shot! You win, so I'm gonna give you one of my secret weapons. Don't tell. You win. Here you go. You win. Bombs away. You win. Incoming! You win. Heads up, trespasser. Prepare to meet your doom. Talking's boring. Snowball fights are fun. Arm yourself or face the consequences. Stop and prepare to battle the Snow Princess. My dad says you're a detective. He told me not to tell anyone, and I won't. I gave him my word. And I gave you my word that I don't know anything about the accidents, and there's no incriminating evidence in our place. Which means there's nothing for you to ask questions about. So take up arms and prepare to feel the wrath of the Snow Princess. Halt! The battle for the kingdom of the Snow Princess begins! Stop! How dare you trespass here? You shall pay for your insolence. Halt! By order of the Snow Princess, you shall not pass. Stop! You cannot pass until you have proven yourself in battle. Yeah! Yeah! Ooh! Whoa! Yeah! Chicken! Where you going? Afraid you're gonna lose, huh? Scaredy cat! You can't beat me, leaner.
What do you want? I don't know what you're talking about. How dare you use that tone of voice with me? I'm leaving this place right now! Excuse me? How dare you talk to me like that? I'm leaving this place right now.
Hello? Yes, hello! Is the wolf all right? Yes, of course. Is the wolf all right? Hello? Is everything all right? Like what? Yes? If only I was there to protect it.
Our organization is trying desperately to arrange to have the wolf captured and transported to a sanctuary, but so far all the ones we've contacted are full. And unless and until we find a place for it, our hands are tied. Tell me more about the contact you've had with the wolf. It may have sensed you were in trouble, or its behavior may have been totally random. But either way, the fact that the wolf didn't simply run away from you is very bad news. So, someone has trained her. That's very bad. As well it should. It's a potentially dangerous animal. I just wish the wolf felt the same way about you. Wolves and humans simply do not mix. While wolves may appear to be similar to dogs, behaviors that have been bred out of dogs after thousands of years of domestication are still instinctive to wolves. Training a wolf to behave like a dog may mask those instincts, but it cannot eradicate them. For that reason, no matter how sociable the wolf may appear, instinct can at any moment rear its ugly head with devastating results for any humans involved and for the wolf. Especially for the wolf, who will have simply been doing what comes naturally. Precisely. It could make them forget that all wolves are, first and foremost, wild. And while we're on the subject, unfortunately the damage has probably already been done, but you should certainly not initiate contact, and do not ever give in to the temptation to feed the wolf. For one thing, a wolf's jaws are twice as powerful as a German shepherd's, and should your hand happen to get in its way when it tries to feed? For another thing, making the wolf dependent upon you for food would seal its doom. It sounds strange, Nancy, but the very best thing you can do for that wolf is nothing. Yes, that was me. I was afraid that Bill Kessler fellow would encounter the wolf on one of his trips out to the shack, and that it would end badly for the wolf. So I did a number on his equipment. I've done worse while working on behalf of Run and Grow Free. Believe me. Why in the world do you want to know that? Well, it's a harmless question, I suppose. Let's see. I get up on my left side. That is weird, but harmless, I suppose. Let me think. I get up on my left side. You're very observant. I read the article thinking he might make a good spokesperson for Run and Grow Free. But then I actually talked to him. At which point I realized that not only is he a raving egomaniac, but he's appallingly superstitious when it comes to wolves. I put an abrupt end to that conversation, at which point I realized that not only is he a raving egomaniac, but he's appallingly superstitious when it comes to wolves. I put an abrupt end to that conversation. I was afraid he might try to tell me that wolves had eaten his grandmother or something. All right. I'm a member of Run and Grow Free. As you may or may not know, that's an organization dedicated to the protection of wild animals. I went to the lodge to make sure nothing happened to that wolf. See, we're trying desperately to arrange to have it captured and transported to a sanctuary. But so far, all the ones we've contacted are full. And unless and until we find a place for it, all we can do is try to protect it. Thanks for calling. Oh, and from now on, call me Lupe. I think you've earned that right. Feel free to call me any time. Bye. Oh, before I forget, I'm about to leave for Nevada. The Mustangs there are being... Well, it's a long story. Anyway, you won't be able to reach me for a week or two, but I intend to keep trying to find a sanctuary for your white wolf, and as soon as I succeed, I'll call you. It was wonderful talking to you. Bye. Do keep in touch. Bye. Call me the instant anything happens. Now tell me more about the contact you've had with the wolf, because unfortunately, there's really no such place as nowhere anymore. We humans are, or can be, everywhere. Plus, wolves can travel great distances. Contact with humans would be inevitable. And since this wolf has obviously lost its fear of humans, it would be an easy target for anyone prone to shoot first and ask questions later. No, a sanctuary is the only place where it would be truly safe. It's a facility where wolves can live out their lives in as natural a setting as possible in the company of other wolves. No, sanctuaries are usually not open to the general public, and while educating visitors about wolves is certainly one of their goals, their primary concern is preserving the animals they take in. Unfortunately, the more humans encroach on wolves' natural habitat, the more crowded the sanctuaries become. For the most part, and especially up there, wolves are considered to be pests. If a government agency got involved, it would take care of the wolf all right. Permanently. Not only are wolves built to withstand cold temperatures, but they know instinctively what to do to survive in extreme conditions. If they didn't, they would have disappeared from the earth eons ago. Julius McQuaid. No, doesn't ring any bells. Well, in that case, I wish I did know him, so I could smack him upside the head. It's his fault the wolf is in this predicament. People should never make pets out of wild animals. Ever. Because I assumed, and quite correctly as it turns out, that very few people there would be sympathetic to my cause. Had I not been undercover, they may have tried to foil my efforts. Instead, I was able to foil theirs. For a while, at least. My first thought was that Ollie had completely lost it and was going after the wolf with explosives. But when I realized that even he wasn't that stupid, I assumed it was someone clearing an avalanche or a downed tree or something. Yes, as a matter of fact, I heard several. While we're on the subject of explosions, did anyone ever figure out what made the bunkhouse blow up like that? While we're on the subject of explosions, did anyone ever figure out what made the bunkhouse blow up like that? Good point. No offense, but it sounds to me like instead of hiring a new maid, the owner of the lodge should have hired herself a detective. Wow, that's serious. No offense, but it sounds to me like instead of hiring a new maid, the owner of the lodge should have hired herself a detective. I doubt it's following you because it wants to eat you, if that's what you mean. It's probably just a behavior it learned at the same time it was unlearning its fear of humans. Just be cautious. Don't encourage it. And you should both be fine. I doubt it's following you because it wants to eat you, if that's what you mean. It's probably just a behavior it learned from that Julius fellow you told me about. Be cautious, don't encourage it, and you should both be fine. No. A wolf is first and foremost a wild animal. It is ruled by instinct. No matter how well trained or how well-meaning it appears to be, it does not play by our rules. And to ignore that fact, and it is a fact, is to invite disaster. For your sake and for the wolf's sake, believe me, there are no exceptions. Oh, and by the way, someone from your phone number keeps calling me sounding like a parrot. Please stop that. This is Lupe. Leave a message and perhaps we'll talk later.
I can't use that here.
As always, your mission is to solve the mystery by stepping into my shoes and deciding my every move. But in this game, The White Wolf of Icicle Creek, the screen is going to look a little different than it did before. On the lower left side of the screen, you'll see icons for the things that I, Nancy Drew, need, like my inventory, journal, and task list. While on the lower right side of the screen, you'll see icons for the things you as the player need, like options, load, save, and exit icons. The icon in the mat above the screen lets you know when I'm wearing something I found in the course of the game. Take a look at the chapter titled Icons for more details. To get from one place to another in the game, just move your cursor around on the screen and click when an arrow pointing in the direction you want to go appears. An arrow pointing forward allows you to go forward, while a back arrow allows you to step back. Sometimes up and down arrows are available too. Give it a try. Find the forward arrow and check out Mr. Woogle Woggle. He's my teddy bear. When you want to turn around, move your cursor to the bottom of the screen until it turns into an arrow that looks like a U-turn or back arrow and click. I always use my magnifying glass to scan my surroundings for clues. When it turns red, I know I'm onto something. When your magnifying glass turns into a question mark, you can talk to someone. When it becomes a hand, you can use it to open and close things, pick up objects, and move things around. To see how this works, move your mouse over this scene until the magnifying glass turns red, then click to zoom in. See how the magnifying glass turned into a hand when you rolled it over the key? That means you can pick it up. When you click on an object with a hand cursor, that object gets added to your inventory. Roll your cursor over the key. The magnifying glass turned into a hand when you rolled it over the key, which means you can pick it up. Click on the key and see what happens. Good work! You're a natural. To see what's in your inventory, just click on the inventory icon at the bottom of the screen, the icon that looks like a satchel. To use an item that's in your inventory, just click on it. In fact, try clicking on the key. See how the cursor turned into the item you clicked on? Use the key to click on the lock on my suitcase, and you'll see how good I've gotten at packing. To return an object to your inventory, just click on the inventory icon. Then click on the Open Inventory box and the object will go back into storage. You can close your inventory by clicking on the square in the upper right-hand corner, by clicking on the inventory icon, or by clicking on another icon. I keep reminders to myself in my journal. Click on the notebook icon at the bottom left of the screen and you'll see what I mean. I try to keep my notes tidy by putting them into categories. Just click on a category and you'll see all the entries on that topic I've made up to that point in the game. Click on the clipboard icon, and if you're a junior detective, you'll see a list of what I need to do. Organized person that I am, once I've done something, I check it off. Other icons may appear in the lower left as well, like a cell phone or a coin purse, or a particularly useful device that you stumble upon in the course of the game. The floppy disk icon allows you to name your current game, then save it, or to simply save your current game without renaming it. And while we're on the subject, it's a good idea to save your game from time to time while you're playing, just in case. Click on the folder icon and you'll be able to load a previously saved game. Just scroll through the thumbnails, select the game you want, then click on Load. Or if you click on New, you can start the game over from the beginning. The gear icon allows you to determine how you experience the game. You can also adjust the volume of the music, voices, and sound effects, as well as turn off the closed captioning text and change the color of the background matte. If you have to stop playing and leave the game, just click on the exit icon. Questioning suspects is something all detectives need to know how to do. In the game, to get people to talk to you, all you have to do is click on them. Let's say I've clicked on Mr. Woogle Woggle here. Our conversation will appear in the text box, with his words in yellow and my responses in blue. Click on a response and see what your suspect says next.
Excuse me, giant human person, but you seem to be pretty nosy, especially for someone who hardly even has a nose. I mean, compared to mine.
Excuse me, Mr. Woogle Woggle, but I'm not nosy. I'm just very curious. You think so? Usually people only call me nosy when they're hiding something. And you seem to be pretty gabby, especially for someone who doesn't even have a mouth. If there are a lot of words in the text box, use the scroll bar to move the text up and down so you can read along. Before you can start playing, you need to decide whether to play as a junior or senior detective. If you choose junior detective, you'll get more hints than you will if you're a senior detective, and the puzzles will be a little easier. When you're ready to start playing, just click on the plane tickets and hang on to your hat. Hi, I'm Nancy Drew. Since you can tell a lot about a person by where he or she lives, I thought I'd introduce myself by showing you my room. As you can see, I keep it pretty neat. Of course, I don't spend that much time in here. I always seem to be off solving mysteries. Anyway, here's my center of operations, my desk. Go ahead and poke around. If you want to know the particulars of how I do what I do, take a look at the book titled How to Be a Detective. It's real helpful, especially if you're new to the mystery-solving business. And be sure to check out my scrapbook. I put memorabilia from all my past cases in there. A lot of them were pretty dangerous and at times really scary. But don't say anything about that to my dad, okay? He worries about me enough as it is. And whatever you do, read what's in the file called Case File. That will tell you all about the mystery I'm about to try to solve. If you think you're ready to dive into that mystery, just click on the plane ticket and you'll be on your way. In this game, you'll be able to control the passage of time by using the clock in your room. If you want it to be the next day, or if you prefer to do your snooping at night, just rotate the little alarm hand to whatever time you want it to be. Then set it by clicking on the button on top of the clock. Simple. Lying there in the snow, defeated, Yanni owned up to everything. He tainted the potato salad with bad mayonnaise, he iced down the back stairs, he opened a gas valve in the sauna, he blew up the bunkhouse using the clock he took from Guadalupe's room, and he left those pictures of Bill Kessler for me in the sauna, although he swears the door got stuck by accident in order to cast suspicion on someone else. He did all this because he wanted everyone to leave Icicle Creek Lodge. Why? Because it turns out that he was actually spying for the government of Fredonia, which had sent him to Canada to look for uranium. Apparently, his superiors hoped to secretly mine what he found and smuggle it back to Fredonia. What they planned to do with it then, even Yanni didn't know, but he insisted that he never meant to hurt anyone, and that he really was the best cross-country skier in the world. Unfortunately, he'll never get a chance to prove that now. Chantal has barely been off the phone since she got back to the lodge. It seems that Yanni's shenanigans made the nightly news, not just in Canada, but in the States. And as a result, people have been booking stays right and left, much to her delight. When I told her and Ollie how ISIS had helped me, they were truly amazed. Hopefully, from now on, Ollie will think twice about pulling out his rifle every time he sees a varmint. As for Isis, Guadalupe called me that very night and told me she'd found a wolf sanctuary that could take her. I could tell from the way the volunteers from the sanctuary treated her when they came to get her that she'll be in good hands at her new home. But still, it's sad that through no fault of her own, she can never run free again. They said it's possible that she might someday be released back into the wild, but not very likely. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed anyway. Current assignment. Head to the Icicle Creek Lodge, a small guest lodge deep in the Canadian Rockies of Alberta, Canada, and try to figure out why so many accidents have been happening there. The woman who runs the lodge, Chantal Moique, called me out of the blue, saying that Bet and Ed Raleigh from Shadow Ranch had recommended me. She sounded so desperate that I couldn't refuse. She said she was on her way to Edmonton to meet with her lawyers, so her handyman, Ollie Randall, will pick me up at the airport. She told me it's been really cold and snowy there, and that I should pack accordingly. And then she said something about a wolf. The connection was getting really bad, and I could barely hear her. But I'm pretty sure she used the word prowling, or was it howling, along with dangerous and be careful. Accidents are one thing, but wild animals? I hope I know what I'm getting into. When Beth suggested we head to New Orleans for a short vacation, I thought it was a great idea. The French Quarter, fantastic food, awesome music, friendly people. But all it took was one little side trip to check on a friend of Ned's, and suddenly everything got very strange. A recent death, a musty old mansion, a disturbingly odd curio shop, a garden where only secrets seemed to grow, and something as ancient as it was terrifying. Join me on my next adventure, Legend of the Crystal Skull.
Hello? Yeah, this is Carl. Nuts. Missed him. Hello? Can't talk now. Sorry. No. Yeah? Look, I'll call you back, okay? Come on. What? Why do you keep calling me? I'm busy here. Not much to tell. Take that, Captain Keen. I went there to do a little ice fishing, and I slipped going down some stairs and fractured my tibia in 2 places. Can't work, can't go out. All I can do is sit around and play this stupid video game. Oh, no, you don't? Yeah, they were covered with ice. I was lucky I didn't fracture my skull. Yes, they were covered with ice. I was lucky I didn't fracture my skull. Yes. Hey, look, I'm about 4 laser strikes away from ruling the Gargoulian galaxy, so I gotta go, okay? You got any more questions? Check with the people at the lodge. Gotcha! No way, I'm on a roll. So far I've enslaved 3 galaxies. Then I'm just going to have to take my phone off the hook.
You're supposed to be shoveling snow off the pond. You're done shoveling snow? Dude, 4 words. Shovel, snow, pond, now. What's up? Later, dude. What are you, Little Red Riding Hood? That wolf's not hurting anybody. People should just leave it alone. Not gonna happen, dude. You're like ancient. Of course I'm faster than you. 2 words. Snow shovel. I beat him 5 times. Snowshoeing's my thing, dude. Besides, it's animal cruelty. Yep. University of California at Brea. Master of Fine Arts. Yeah, I just figured I needed a change of scenery. What is this, like the Spanish Inquisition? Oh, right. My favorite medium? What am I gonna do with an MFA degree? I don't know. See, you don't learn how to snowshoe. If you need to get through snow that's too deep to walk through, you slap on some snowshoes and you just do it. My car broke down on my way to Lake Louise last summer. Pulled in here to wait for the tow truck and figured it'd be a cool place to visit during the winter, so here I am. Yep, I like doing stuff outside. Snowshoeing's about all I can afford. I think they're kinda cool. Accidents make life colorful, you know? Hey, I had that broken window.
Broken window?
I went snowshoeing on like the 3rd day I was here, and when I got back, the window in my room was broken. Glass was all over the place. Don't know what broke it either. Nah, it wasn't a burglary. It was like the window just decided to break. I mean, there was no rock on the floor, no bullet, no nothing. That's bogus, dude. My room's on the 2nd floor, and besides, wolves don't do stuff like that. It's just doing its thing, man. Get off its case. Anyway, my window broke and nobody knows why. Pretty awesome, huh? I create works of art by manipulating naturally occurring geophysical substances like dirt. Sometimes I just use my hands, but most of the time heavy machinery is involved. Nobody understands my art. But that's cool. To be great is to be misunderstood. FYI, Ralph Waldo Emerson said that. Dirt. Yo, Nancy the maid. Sup? What are you doing with my snowshoes? Sweet. But I thought I'd go for a little trek. Can I have them? No. Well, in that case, no. I've only got one pair, and they're like precious, you know? Sorry, dude, the answer's no. What can I say? Dude, what makes you think I took some bone from some plaque? Notebook? I wasn't digging up dinosaur bones. I was creating art. All right, here's the deal. There's a lot of people out there who collect stuff like fossils and dinosaur bones, okay? They pay big bucks for them. And it just so happens paleontology's kind of my thing, so yeah, I collect bones and I sell them. Except I haven't unearthed anything. Negative. I'm not the one who's been making things go boom out there. I mean, I may have found a couple of good specimens in a couple of craters, but I didn't make the craters, and I don't know who did. There. That's the key to the closet in my room. You want the bone from that plaque? Go ahead and take it. Okay, dude, excitement's over. Whose move? You can't prove that. But since I'm all about peace and goodwill, how about I give her half of whatever I get for them? We'll go 50-50. Yeah, okay, whatever. Your move, dude. I see that Yannick guy sometimes. I'll be plodding along and he'll go zooming by. Those skis of his are like rockets, man. He's all like zippy zoom. Yeah, and they freak me out. Never. Sometimes I hear it howl, though. Bad news, man. It doesn't take a very big sound to trigger an avalanche. And when you're out there by yourself, nothing will ruin your day faster than a couple of tons of snow roaring your way at 100 miles an hour.
Tell me about it.
Planet X. Planet X? There will be. Planet X. That's my answer, and I'm sticking to it. Probably you. Couldn't stand the thought of losing to a girl. Been real. Ditto, dude. Rock and roll. Happy trails. Hey.
Well, who are you? I'm glad you stopped by. The alarm clock is missing from my room. I don't necessarily need another one. I just don't want to be charged for that one, seeing as I have no idea where it went to. What, that bullet? Don't be silly. Why would I be carrying ammunition around? Let's not talk anymore, Nancy. People are starting to get suspicious. I said no more talking. Yes? Oh, the new maid, thank goodness! I was wondering how much longer the owner expected us to endure these conditions and still pay full price. Perhaps what I should have asked Nancy is, what are you? You're obviously much too young to be a paying guest. My name is Guadalupe Comillo. My friends call me Lupe. 2 days, I think. Maybe even 3. I don't know. It's all a blur of dirt and dust and soap residue. 2 things, dear. First, the alarm clock is missing from my room. I don't necessarily need another one. I just don't want to be charged for that one, seeing as I have no idea where it went to. Second, wonderful. Now, I hardly think so, dear. For one thing, I don't even know your name. For one thing, I know nothing about you. When my ex moved out of the house, he turned into a complete slob within a week. They can't help it, poor things. It's an unfortunate aberration of the genes. I've bumped into them at one time or another, yes. I don't spend all my time in front of this window. Birds. I'm watching birds. That's what I am, you see, a bird watcher. Sometimes I go outside and watch, and sometimes I stay inside. It all depends on what the birds feel like doing and what I feel like doing. Absolutely. The place is a veritable birding paradise, even in winter. In fact, in the short time I've been here, I've seen hawks, eagles, orioles, cardinals, jays, nothing truly rare. But to a wildlife lover such as myself, seeing them in such a spectacular setting is thrilling nonetheless. Be a doll and clean my room first. It'll hardly take you any time at all, especially compared to the other rooms. The other guests are all men. Single men. Excellent. You're a doll. Now, did you want to ask me something? That Yanni fellow, he's very talented but extremely intense. His whole life revolves around being the best in the world. As for the 2 who are always sitting across the way playing that silly game, the older man, Bill Kessler, he's no deep thinker, but he's nice enough. But the other one, that college student,
Talking to him is like trying to converse with a giant turnip. No social graces whatsoever. I almost prefer talking to the handyman. Almost. Anyone that intent on destroying something as glorious as that wolf is hardly worth talking to. Well, no. Not that I'm looking for it, of course. Yanni occasionally skis by, and that dullard of a student, I see him snowshoeing occasionally. But I've yet to see the wolf. Have you seen it? How did it act? Was it aggressive? Did it look injured? Really? Of course, its behavior does suggest that it's had contact with humans before. Maybe I will. Have you told anyone else what you just told me? Good. Don't. You see, I'd like to see this wolf for myself, and I don't want everyone else going after it and scaring it away. And there's no telling what that trigger-happy handyman might do. So it'll just be our little secret, all right? I might. Why do you ask? No, it's not from any book I have. I've never been in the ice fishing shack, so how could it be? I'd love to help you, but I'm afraid I left all my bird books at home. Sorry. Well, since it was never in my pocket, that's impossible now, isn't it? It was probably lying there on the floor all along, and you just happened to kick it into view, that's all. This did used to be a hunting lodge, dear. I wouldn't worry about it. What? That's so ridiculous. It's laughable. Look at me. Do I really look like some kind of wildlife fanatic? You're right. I am a member of Run and Grow Free. I did make sure that brute would miss if he took a shot at the wolf, and I will do whatever it takes to protect that beautiful creature. Yes. No. That's all I'm going to tell you, Nancy. And if you really are concerned about the wolf's welfare, you won't repeat any of this to anyone. Earth. No, wait. Make that Venus. No, Earth. No, actually Venus. No, Earth. No offense, dear, but that's a very silly question.
Earth. No, wait. Make that Venus. No, Earth. No, actually Venus. No, Earth. No offense, dear, but that's a very silly question. Oh, good heavens, no. Although I probably know more about them than most people do, which unfortunately isn't saying much. Well, I know that a wolf that lives by itself, like the one up there at the lodge, a lone wolf, if you will, a wolf like that is called a disperser. And I know that 95% of the wolf's natural habitat down here in the lower 48 states has disappeared. And I know some people, a lot of people, couldn't care less. But it seems to me that wolves have just as much right to go about their business in this country as we humans do. After all, they were here first.
Toodaloo! Remember, mum's the word. Farewell. Ta-ta. Au revoir.
Sheriff's office, this is Mohican. Yes, this is the sheriff's office. Nobody's in the office right now, so you can either hang up and call back, or wait for the beep and leave us a message. Your choice. Oh, yeah, that bright kid from the States. What do you need? I found that clock face, too. Left it there because any fingerprints on it would have melted away along with everything else. And besides, Ollie Randall said all the room clocks at the lodge looked like that. Could have been one that was in the bunkhouse to begin with. You shouldn't go poking around on your own like that. There could still be explosives lying around. Although, I hear it takes a pretty big bang to set off C4. A plastic explosive? That's what blew up the bunkhouse. Lab result came in less than an hour ago. Well, not if you're in the military or do any kind of demolition. In Eastern Europe, it's called Semtex. It's not that hard to handle either. For somebody who's had training in explosives, it's a piece of cake. Nope. Unfortunately, that bunkhouse wasn't particularly well made, so when it exploded, pretty much everything got melted into a blob or blown to smithereens or burned to a crisp. No, but it's not that difficult to get. No, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's always open season on wolves out here. You can kill as many of them as you want. The animals wolves go after don't have a problem with it, I can guarantee you that. An explosion? Are you sure it wasn't just the sound of someone shooting a rifle, maybe? Was he hurt? Unless it was someone shooting off fireworks or something, I have no idea what it could have been. Well, did he see who it was? Why are you telling me this instead of him? So what do you want me to do? Well, if this Yanni guy wasn't concerned enough to call us, I don't see what good we can do. Life's too short, we're too understaffed, and it's just too darn cold to go traipsing around out there for nothing. Goodbye. Have a good day.
Who dares disturb the concentration of Mystico the Magnificent? Nancy Drew, I see your future clear as tape. I see a white wolf and a dark figure named Bruno. But beware, Nancy Drew, the wolf will only lead to danger and intrigue. The Magnificent. You're supposed to say Mystico the Magnificent. So, Nancy Drew, what secrets from the beyond do you seek? So, Nancy Drew, what secrets from the beyond do you seek? What do you think I am? An insurance salesman, a pair of underage detectives, a starstruck teenager, a washed-up police officer, an elderly housekeeper, a parrot? Who do you think I am? A librarian? A witless actress? A retired school teacher? The hapless owner of a ski lodge? A kidnapped teenage reporter? A ne'er-do-well curator? A freaked-out homeowner? An amusement park owner? A tour operator? A ranch owner? A neighbor? A distant friend? A clueless socialite? A worried investor? An entomologist? Who do you think I am? A gun-toting thug, a washed-up actor, an antique stealer, a diamond thief, an old man, an art aficionado, a hillbilly, an art director, a whale lover, a flannel-wearing cuisinier, a sneeveling brat, a quack, a social climber, a flâneuse, a two-headed monster? A wise choice. Return to the icy depths, and there you will discover the jewel of the deep blue sea. You have incurred the wrath of Mystico. From this moment forward, bad luck shall creep behind you like a malevolent shadow. Mystico has spoken. In time, in time. Have you not the jewel of the deep blue sea? Did Mystico not reveal to you the secrets of the icy depths? You are starting to feel sleepy. The sound of Mystico's voice envelops you in its rich, chocolatey, velvety veil of sleep. When I snap my fingers, you will wake up as a chicken, an arikari, a pig, a cow, a kitty cat, a monkey. Long live Mystico. Mystico sees and knows all. So don't bother leaving your name and phone number because I already know who you are.
Around. Bark. Actually, I'm not quite done yet. I didn't say that. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to wake you. People who sleep during the day usually have a hard time sleeping at night, you know. Actually, I'm not quite sure. What do you mean? Have you two been at the lodge for a while? Are you two old friends? You didn't just come here to play games, did you? Is this the first time you've been to the lodge? Have you seen the wolf? What about all the accidents that have been happening around here? Consider it done. No, but I've always wanted to try it. As a matter of fact, I have. No. Anything to make you guests happy. Is this the first time you've been to the lodge? All I know is after I caught that 2-foot northern pike, I walked outside and someone knocked me unconscious with an ice ball. The next thing I knew, there was an explosion and I was on an ice floe in the middle of the lake with no coat and no fish. I hate to tell you this, but someone wrecked all the fishing gear that was in the fishing shack. Completely. So much for our little fishing contest. Yes, was that your only equipment? Used to own it. So when you said this was the first time you've been here, was she the reason you wrote that letter I found crumpled up in your room? Taught him a lesson by, say, putting Icicle Creek Lodge out of business? Since you used to spend so much time here, do you know if there's a way to get into Trapper Dan's needle? But I already opened up the pyramid and there was nothing inside. Why did he need a special master key? So what's in the needle, do you know? I opened up that pyramid like you told me, but there was nothing inside. There's no other way to get into Trapper Dan's needle? Could that magnetic key thing be somewhere else? Did you ever read it? Do you think it's still there? Since Mr. Talbot isn't here, could I play a game of fox and geese with you? Gobble it up. You bet. Actually, I changed my mind. I don't want to play right now. Would you mind if we use this little pig I found in place of the fox piece? Sure. I don't think so. Maybe later. How about another game of fox and geese? I'm going to replace the fox with my pig again. Want to play fox and geese again? I know this is going to sound like a strange question, but what planet do you most identify with? I should have known. Are you by any chance related to Rolf Kessler, the guy who used to build carousels around the turn of the last century? I'd better get going. Well, sorry to bother you. Well, I'll let you get back to beating Lou. I'll let you get back to your nap. Well, I'd better get back to work. I've kept you awake long enough. I'll see you two later, okay? Hi, my name's Nancy Drew. I'm trying to locate a man named Julius McQuaid. I think he may have been treated there on Christmas Eve. Was? You mean he passed away? Well, I wasn't a relative and I didn't really know him. We had kind of a mutual friend. Actually, he wasn't alone. He was with our mutual friend. You weren't able to locate any next of kin? Do you still have his personal effects? Well, thank you for the information. Nancy Drew. Just thought I'd come over and say hello. Mr. Kessler? What are you doing down here? I'm fine, and I'll be even better after you and I have a little talk. Yanni? What are you doing here? All I know is I found a bag, Lou Talbot's bag, and it's full of explosives. He's been excavating dinosaur bones. He may be responsible for a lot of the other stuff that's been going on around here, too. No, you go. I'll be fine. Looks like Yanni dropped something. It's that thing he's always wearing on his arm. Hey, Yanni! You dropped something! Yanni? She's got a glove from that snowmobiling suit Lou left behind. Wait a minute. What she just did means the scent on that glove and the scent on that thing Yanni dropped are the same. Which means the person who's been wearing that snowmobiling suit and blowing things up is Yanni. Geophone data? Uranium? Oh my gosh, he set the timer. It looks like he's about to blow up the needle. Isis, we've got to get out of here, fast. Yanni's getting away. Ollie, I need to borrow your snowmobile. I'll explain later. Hi, Chantal, it's Nancy Drew. Not quite yet. Hi, Chantal. Hi, Chantal. I finished that survey and faxed it to Tino. Hi, Chantal. It's Nancy again. Still working on it. Sure. Like what? Hi, it's Nancy Drew. Actually, it was more like Ollie threw her out. I'm afraid it's true. Hi, it's Nancy. Listen, I think I'm onto something, but I desperately need snowshoes. Could you give me the combination to the lock on the display case so I could use the ones in there? Bill Kessler. I know. He asked me and I said I would. I know, he asked me, but I think I should be investigating those accidents, not ice fishing. Absolutely. About Tino, I'm not totally comfortable with the idea of consulting with him on this case. Do you know what he did when we were on that train trip Laurie Gerard arranged? If I need any suggestions, I usually call people I, trust. If I want to discuss a case with someone, I usually call people I, trust. Agreed. Okay. I'd like to know more about the accidents. I asked Ollie, but he said you said he wasn't allowed to talk about them. I'd like to hear more about the accidents that have been happening around here. So, who's suing you? But the only incidents that you can be sure were sabotage were the tires, the phone wires, and maybe the explosion in the bunkhouse? But the only incidents that you can be sure were sabotage were the tires, the phone wires, and the explosion in the bunkhouse? I think I'm onto something, but I desperately need snowshoes. Could you give me the combination to the lock on the display case so I could use the ones in there? You didn't write it down? Did you remember the combination to the display case yet? No, not yet. Sounds good. I really don't think that's necessary. Did you know that some photos are missing from the display case in the lobby? The caption for them says something like, "Young and old have stayed at Icicle Creek Lodge." That bone Trapper Dan found is missing from its case, too. How come the entries for last year were deleted from the guest register? That's what the computer says. Contents deleted. Ollie's daughter? Has she done other things like that? Why would she delete something on your computer? I think that's only in movies. Besides, pretty much all this person had to do was press the delete key. Has anyone talked to you about the World Championship cross-country skiing competition that's going to be held somewhere in this area year after next? In other words, the answer is yes. That would tend to make Icicle Creek Lodge a very desirable piece of real estate, wouldn't it? I can't help but wonder if Yanni Volkstaya is here because he knows about the championship too, and he's up to something. It's a thought. Like he's been known to rent or buy all the housing near cross-country events so his competitors have to stay miles away. You know the animals that Trapper Dan mounted and put on display in the lodge? Well, their eyes are radioactive. That's why they glow. They're coated with some sort of radium compound. It may not be that much of a safety hazard. I discovered they were radioactive because I found a Geiger counter near the lodge. I'm assuming it's not yours? The good news is I checked and found out that they're not that dangerous. After all, clocks and watches with radium dials were around for half a century. But I'll try to find out for sure. I guess not. This geology professor said no one in the lodge is in any real danger unless they're touching the eyes or spending long periods of time right next to them, which no one is. But now that you know about them, she said the radium-coated eyes should be removed as soon as possible. I found out whether or not the radium-coated eyes in those stuffed animals in the lodge are dangerous. Yes, but I'm okay now. I just got a little wet and cold. Actually, I got really cold. My lips turned this really interesting shade of violet. I know, I'll be more careful next time, I promise. You don't mean... Not only crashed it, I pretty much trashed it. I didn't mean to, but I guess I zigged when I should have zagged. For what it's worth, I'm not exactly thrilled about it either. Don't let it happen again? Yeah, that was my second guess. Chantal, are you okay? Chantal? Got it, but why not say call a wolf sanctuary and have them come and take the wolf away? That would certainly be more humane. I forgot, but I will. Did you take a look at that survey from Tino before you faxed it to me? Didn't some of the things he wants me to ask the guests strike you as being a little, I don't know, ludicrous? No, in fact, frankly, I don't think he knows what he's doing. Well, I wouldn't exactly call him a genius. Understood. It wouldn't surprise me either. I don't think so. Well, the case isn't closed yet. I still have to come up with proof. Did Ollie tell you that Guadalupe Comillo checked out? Did he tell you he pretty much threw her out? Actually, he left because I busted him for stealing dinosaur bones. I know for a fact he took the one that was in the lobby. He may even be our saboteur. Trapper Dan referred to it as a Rex bone. No, not yet. I still can't prove anything. And for all I know, Lou may still be around here, camping out while he looks for more bones. Did you hear that Lou Talbot left the lodge? Did you know that Ollie is building a trap to catch the wolf that's been hanging around? But why does he need to get rid of it? It's not hurting anything. The guests that are in the lodge now, did any of them stay here last year? I'd better get back to work. Yes, but he said no. Sure, that's it for now. Nothing else to report. You'll hear from me again later. Do you have any idea what would make Bill Kessler think that your father cheated Tilly Wentworth when he bought Icicle Creek Lodge from her? Apparently she was his grandmother. Why not? Wow, Bill Kessler has no idea. Did you know that there's a secret passageway leading from this outdoor hut I found to an area underneath the lodge? I'm pretty sure it goes from there to Trapper Dan's needle. Is it true that you promised Ollie a raise, but you haven't given it to him yet? Meaning... Time to dig out the tank top, stock up on sunscreen, and slip on those sandals, because for my next adventure, I'm off to Hawaii, to the Big Island to be exact, where I'll be helping out this quirky entomologist. That's a bug scientist, by the way, who has just made a disturbing discovery. In fact, my working vacation quickly turns into a series of disturbing discoveries, including one that involves a legendary monster with a nasty temper and an appetite for revenge. So come with me to this island paradise and help me solve the mystery surrounding the creature of Kapu Cave. Until then, aloha. Bad things have been happening to the guests at Icicle Creek Lodge. They come for winter fun like ice skating, cross-country skiing, and snowshoeing, but some leave, fearing for their lives. Of course, the lodge is located deep in the wilds of the Canadian Rockies, and it is the dead of an unusually cold, snowy winter. But is the lodge simply unlucky? Is it the target of some mysterious curse? Or is someone behind these strange events? Or does it have something to do with the elusive wolf that haunts the surrounding hills, howling before each new disaster? Help me find out in my next adventure, The White Wolf of Icicle Creek. Well, if one of the people at the lodge is to blame for all those accidents, Chantal thinks somebody like me has a better chance of figuring out who it is than somebody more, hard-nosed. Is she still in Edmonton? I won't be underfoot, Mr. Randall, and I may be young, but I'm no novice when it comes to solving mysteries. He said he'd know more after the lab was done running tests on the debris he'd collected. He did say the blast was pretty powerful. Well, I was thinking that maybe I'd just be your new maid. That would give me access to everyone's room, and I could question people without making them overly suspicious. Your cook? We heard it howl last night, just before the bunkhouse blew up. Tino Balducci. Been there, done that. That's finished. Check. Oops, haven't done that. Can't check that off yet. Still need to do that. Down. Huh?
Who's this? No, that's okay. I'm wide awake. Hello? We can talk now. What's up? Nancy? Hey, what's going on? Hello? Hey, Nance? Hello? So, how's it going? Hi, Nance. Everything all right? Hey, Nance, what's going on? I couldn't tell it was you because you're not calling from your cell phone. Oh, I haven't forgotten. Everything okay? Yikes. So there was another act of sabotage? Nothing like starting things off with a bang. Sorry, couldn't resist. So if whoever blew up the bunkhouse is the same person who's been causing the accidents, you're looking for someone who knows something about explosives. Well, that's a pretty good lead. What else have you got? A wolf? That's kind of cool. From what I've read, wolves rarely attack humans, but be careful when you're outside anyway. Really? Maybe there's something wrong with it. Something that would make it dangerous. You keep your eyes open when you're outside, Nancy. You're kidding me. Why would a wolf do that? So, you've got a wolf hanging around that acts like Lassie. What else? From what I've read, wolves don't make good pets, so no matter how friendly this wolf seems, do not let your guard down around it, Nancy. From what I've read, wolves don't make good pets, so no matter how in control of this wolf you seem to be, do not let your guard down, Nancy. Tino Balducci? How does Chantal know him? Well, I'm sure he'll be very helpful. Not as helpful as, say, I would have been, of course, but very helpful. Well, I'm sure he'll be very helpful. Oh, as helpful as, say, I would have been? Just checking. A bomb? You mean like a grenade or something? Why would someone do that? And what do you think? Then why are they using them? Good idea. But getting rid of someone by blowing him up? Isn't that a little excessive? Well, either way, sounds to me like figuring out who's behind these bombings is the way to go. Someone left pictures for you in the sauna? So someone wanted you to know that Kessler was lying? Someone left incriminating pictures of Kessler for you, then tried to lock you in the sauna? But if the idea was to lock you in, why bother to leave you the pictures? Why not just lure you down there, push you inside, then lock the door after you? In any case, the fact that Kessler is the one who got you out pretty much lets him off the hook, huh? Well, be that as it may, one thing is for darn sure. No more saunas for you. You don't? Sure, it's about a dog who winds up leading a pack of wolves. It's a classic. Why do you ask? Interesting. Maybe he's got something to do with the wolf that's been lurking around outside the lodge. Or maybe the fact that he's reading that book is all just a big coincidence. As I recall, it was a pretty good book. So the fact that he's reading that book is just a coincidence. Why do you say that? And for another thing? So, she's not a bird watcher because she sleeps in? You think it could have been Guadalupe's? You think she's the one who blew up the bunkhouse? Whatever you say. So what's the real reason she's there? So you were right, and all the accidents? But what? She lied to you once, Nancy. Just remember that. That doesn't exonerate her. She could have been working with someone who's still there. Try me. The scientist who discovered radium? Wonder where he got the radium. That would have been some host gift, huh? Thanks for inviting me, Trapper Dan. Here, have a handful of one of the most radioactive substances known to man. Trapping, mining, construction. That guy did it all, didn't he? Bigfoot. The same Lizzie Applegate who built that mansion in San Francisco you stayed in? The one who hid some treasure behind a whole slew of complicated puzzles? And didn't she also...
Ned.
Wow, small world, huh? What's it for? So you think there's a door, but you can't see one? Well, just keep poking around. If something's got a front door, it usually has a back door, too. Are you okay? You think it came from the clothes the guy who threw the ice ball was wearing? Which means if you come across someone who owns a black snowmobiling suit that's missing a piece of fabric, you probably found your culprit. So do you believe him? So what do you make of that? Have you found any connection between him and explosives at all? Well, unless he suddenly does something weird, he's probably not your guy. Well, keep an eye on him then. If you find any connection between him and those explosions, he could be your guy. Did you find any connection between him and explosives at all? Well, unless you do, he's probably not your guy. Well, if you could just find a connection between him and those explosions, you'd be in business. Keep looking. As a construction guy, it's a sure bet he knows about explosives, though, right? Or maybe he's just not good at making things up. Don't let your guard down, Nancy. Sounds to me like he's still a suspect. Words are cheap, Nancy. You're smart not to let your guard down. Sounds to me like he's still a suspect. Or maybe our man from Fredonia isn't quite what he seems. At least that's what he says. Now that's a question worth finding an answer to. What makes you think that? Kind of like sonar, only underground instead of underwater. So the person you're looking for may be somebody prospecting for gold using 21st century technology? If that's the case, you may be in luck. Just wait until dark, turn off the lights, and see who glows in the dark. Could he be the mad bomber? He's a disgruntled employee, maybe? Keep asking questions. If he has a grudge against Chantal, he may just be your guy. Well, he certainly has the know-how to be responsible for all the stuff that's happened there. Keep asking questions. If he resents Chantal enough, he could easily be your guy. Maybe he figures if he wreaks enough havoc around there, Chantal will shut down the lodge and sell it to him for next to nothing. What's stopping him? Maybe he figures if he wreaks enough havoc around there, Chantal will shut down the lodge and sell it to him for next to nothing. Not only will he get property, he'll get revenge. Of course not, but if Ollie thinks that, he could easily be your guy. Call again soon, okay? You can call me anytime. Got that? I miss you, you know. Good luck up there. And be
careful.
Is there a zoo at the lodge? Because I keep getting calls from someone out there who sounds like a gorilla.
Is this Elsa Sybilhoff? Sybil? Hi, this is Nancy Drew, calling from the Icicle Creek Lodge. I was just wondering, your tires getting all torn up like that didn't have something to do with Elle, did it? You're a singer? You're no longer a maid? My name's Nancy Drew. I'm calling from the Icicle Creek Lodge. I hear you had some tire problems while you were here? No, I'm just trying to get additional information, that's all. You quit because a wolf chewed up your tires? I'm sure it is. Well, thanks for the information. Your tires getting all torn up like that didn't have something to do with Elle, did it? I'm sure it is. Well, thanks for the information. Nancy. No, in fact, I'd better get going. Good luck on the show, though, and thanks for the advice. Elle, as in I'm going to sell your collection of troll dolls on eBay? Good idea. What happened to Larry? I don't need to leave a message. Might as well leave a message. Hi, are you Mrs. Farringdale? No, my name is Nancy Drew, and I'm calling from the Icicle Creek Lodge. You know, in Canada. I'm not really with the lodge. I just wondered if you could tell me what happened. You're not going back because of that food poisoning thing? Sure, just pull out the orange slices and no one will notice. Hi, Mrs. Farringdale. It's Nancy Drew again, calling from the Icicle Creek Lodge. I'll just try you again later. This I gotta hear. Forward. Nancy Drew? And how does she do that? What are ice balls? You must be Ollie's daughter, Freddie. Freddie, wait! Hold your fire! I just want to talk to you! Come on, Freddie, cool it, okay? Can't I just ask you some questions? I'm glad to hear that, but listen. Yeah. I'm Elsa's replacement? My name's Nancy Drew. It kind of looked like it dropped out of your pocket. Then where'd it come from? Still in Nevada. Hi, it's Nancy Drew again. The wolf's fine. I just have some questions. That's right, she's in Nevada. Still not there. How long has Elsa been gone? I'm trying to learn everyone's name. I thought I should introduce myself. I'm the new maid. I'd kind of like to know your name first. So I should call you Lupe? My name is Nancy Drew. I'm the new maid. My name's Nancy Drew. Well, I'm happy to report that I've already cleaned your room. So you've met the other guests? What are you looking at through the binoculars? I hate to sound nosy, but what are you doing? So that's what brought you to Icicle Creek Lodge, the birding? What kind of birds do you see here? I'll make a note of it. Have you met the other guests? So what are the other people at the lodge like? Have you ever seen the wolf that's been hanging out around here? Yeah, up close and personal, as a matter of fact. Me? I'm just the maid, remember? Actually, I think it may have saved my life. Actually, I think somebody has trained it, or has tried to at least. I found a bunch of wolf tracks beyond the pond. You could follow them and see it for yourself. But I did find a bunch of tracks beyond the pond. You could try following them and maybe see the wolf that way. No? Do you want a book about birds of the Southwest? Because I found a piece of a book cover in the fishing shack, and since it was about birds, I wondered if it was yours. Because I was hoping I could borrow it. I'm going to Phoenix next spring, and I'd like to bone up on the birds I'll see down there. Is this yours? You used that bullet I found on the floor to alter the sights on Ollie Randall's rifle, didn't you? You did it because you're a member of Run and Grow Free, and you're trying to protect the wolf at any cost, aren't you? That's why you have that magazine in your room. So you could figure out how to keep Ollie Randall from shooting the wolf. That's the real reason you have that magazine in your room, not so you could read about Yanni, but so you could figure out how to keep Ollie Randall from shooting the wolf. I never judge books by their covers, Miss Camillo. Look, I don't want to see anything happen to that wolf either. If you belong to Run and Grow Free, just tell me. I'm good at keeping secrets, believe me. So, you're here undercover? Does doing whatever it takes include shutting down Icicle Creek Lodge? What are you going to do next? What else have you done to protect the wolf? If I were to ask you which planet you most identify with, which one would you say? Tell me about it. Miss Camillo, hi, it's Nancy Drew from Icicle Creek Lodge. Hi, Lupe, this is Nancy Drew again. Hi, this is Nancy Drew. I'll call you later. Well, Ollie hasn't succeeded in shooting or trapping it yet, if that's what you mean. After I was buried by an avalanche, it dug a hole in the snow so I could escape. If you want to know the truth, the wolf kind of scares me. When I was trapped out on the lake without a coat, it dragged one to the shore and left it there for me. If I give her a command like go or bark or stay, she'll obey it. It is? No problem. Why? So the fact that this wolf doesn't seem to be that afraid of people could lead people to think they don't have to be afraid of it. So I should avoid all contact with the wolf? I get the picture. Are you the one who wrecked all the gear that was in the fishing shack? This is going to sound like a really weird question, but from what side of the bed do you usually get up? Oh, please don't try to make me explain. I've got another kind of weird question for you. From what side of the bed do you usually get up? So, are you kind of an expert on wolves? Things like what? When you were here at the lodge, how come you had a magazine that featured Yanni Volkstaya in your room? You know, actually, never mind. Well, Ollie hasn't succeeded in shooting or trapping it yet, if that's what you mean. But I'm not going to tell you any more until you tell me who you really are. Good luck with your birding. I've enjoyed talking to you. Well, I'd better stop bugging you and get to work. I'll let you go. Well, I'll let you go. That'd be great. Good luck. I'd better get going. That's it for now. I need to get back to work. Why can't the group you belong to just capture the wolf, take it out to the middle of nowhere, and let it go? What's a sanctuary? You mean like a zoo? Aren't there any government agencies that can take care of the wolf? It gets so cold here at night. Will the wolf be okay? Have you ever heard of someone named Julius McQuaid? I think he's the reason why the white wolf isn't afraid of humans. He kind of made a pet out of her. Why didn't you just come out and tell the people at Icicle Creek Lodge that you were there to protect the wolf? Did you ever hear any explosions while you were staying at Icicle Creek Lodge? Do you have any idea what caused them? No, but I can't help but wonder if that explosion is related to the other explosions. Yeah, the sheriff says it was plastic explosives. Sometimes the wolf follows me. Is that okay? I know what you said before about how wolves don't make good pets, but this wolf is so smart and seems so sweet. Aren't there exceptions? Go! Is C4 hard to get? Did the lab results show anything else? That C4 plastic explosive stuff, I'm assuming it's not something you can just buy at your basic hardware store? Did you learn anything else from the lab tests you did after the bunkhouse explosion? Do you need some kind of permit to hunt wolves around here? I almost got caught in an avalanche at Chicken Ridge that was triggered by a big explosion. One of the guests at the hotel, Yanni Volkstaya, he says someone threw a bomb at him while he was out skiing. Oh, hey! No! Oh, I better wait until this Do Not Disturb sign is gone. I can't go in there now. If I unlock the door and someone's inside, yikes! The scents match, which means those notes belong to Lou Talbot. The face from a clock, it's all melted. Part of the timing device that was used to trigger the bomb that blew up the bunkhouse, maybe? Large machinery safety protocols, rudimentary geology, structural engineering. Not exactly books I'd bring with me on my vacation. Let's see, looks like Guadalupe Camillo is in the Olali room, Yanni Volkstaya is in the Kalakala, I'm in the Quell Quell, Bill Kessler is in the Pish Pish, and Lou Talbot is in the Ina. Oh my gosh, it looks like someone came in here and just wrecked everything, including the fishing gear. So much for catching a 2-foot northern pike. Left behind by whoever trashed this place, maybe? 202-555-7237. That's a U.S. phone number. Hello? Anybody here? These weren't here before. Ooh, it's toasty in here. Now I know where to go if I need to warm up. That birthmark below his eye looks very familiar. Sounds like someone just cranked up the heat. Hey, is someone out there? The door's stuck. Hey! Oh no, I'm trapped. Let me out! Somebody? I'm locked in here! Help! Can anybody hear me? Let me out of here! Hey! There, I may still be locked in, but at least I won't feel like a rotisserie chicken anymore. Oh my gosh, it's hot. Must be more than 100 degrees in here. I'm roasting. If I don't do something to cool things off in here, I'm gonna get a heat stroke. I've never been this hot in my life. Trapper Dan's Needle. Trapper Dan's Needle. That's the monument I came across outside. Weird. Looks like some kind of monument. That must be Trapper Dan's Needle. What's this doing here? Strange. It's halfway in and halfway out. This thing must open up somehow. Daniel Weissnitz, better known as Trapper Dan, I'll bet. The snow's so deep, I'm sinking up to my knees. If I want to follow those tracks, I'm gonna need some snowshoes. Something tells me I shouldn't be making this much noise. Not when I'm walking in a place called Avalanche Ridge. I'll just borrow these for an hour or two. I'm sure Mr. Talbot won't mind. Oh, should I take these or not? Maybe I better not. Here we go. Bone which Trapper Dan found near the lodge. He believed it came from a race of giants known as Rexes. The bone's not there. I wonder what happened to it. Bone which Trapper Dan found near the lodge. He believed it came from a race of giants known as Rexes. The bone's not there, but the indentation it left behind looks just like the one I saw on the wall in that hut. Bone which Trapper Dan found near the lodge. He believed it came from a race of giants known as Rexes. Only the bone's not there. I wonder if that's the sauropod scapula that was mentioned in that notebook I found. If it is, whoever that notebook belongs to probably has the bone. Young and old alike have stayed at Icicle Creek Lodge throughout its 100-year history. Looks like some of the pictures are missing. Lou Talbot, charged with trespassing, vandalism, and theft, found digging on private property, creating a piece of architecture, inspired by maverick artist Poppy Dada, of keeping the dinosaur bones dug up in the process. Dinosaur bones? I wonder if that's a dinosaur bone. The bone I saw before is gone. I don't know whose this is or why that wolf left it here, but at least now I won't freeze to death. Looks like something fits in here. But what? This indentation looks just like the one on that plaque in the lodge where that missing Rex bone used to be. Look at all these bones. Lou's been a busy guy. Here's the one I'm looking for, the Rex bone that's missing from that plaque. Looks like Lou split and took all the bones he found with him. So much for sharing with Chantal. Looks like Lou split and took all the bones he found with him. I will not throw ice balls at windows. I will not throw ice balls at windows. Skating pond maintenance. Looks like I'm going to be doing a little bit of everything while I'm here. Here we go. Shoveling snow. The sign's not buried, so I guess there hasn't been an avalanche. I might get in trouble if I go snowmobiling just for the heck of it. Something tells me Ollie wouldn't like me joyriding on this thing. Chantal didn't ask me to come here so I could go snowmobiling. No more snowmobiling for me. Snowshoes owned and used by Trapper Dan in early 1900s. Snowshoes owned and used by Trapper Dan in early 1900s. I could sure use them. To get those snowshoes, I'm going to need the combination. That did it. Meet me in the sauna in the basement. I have some interesting information for you. A sauna sounds good to me. This must have been made by the explosion I heard. Those look like ski tracks. A radio. It doesn't look old enough to have been Trapper Dan's. Secret compartment in the room I named the Kalakala. To open it, push on the right eyeball of the moose. Something tells me this radio belongs to Yanni, and if so, why is he hiding it?
Whenever you're really cold, just squeeze the toasty pack and you'll get a burst of heat. It only works when you're already cold, and you can only use one toasty pack at a time.
I'm starting to get really cold. If I don't get warm pretty soon, I could be in trouble. It is really, really cold out here. If I don't get warm soon, I may not make it. I can't stop shivering. I need to get in and out of the cold, like, soon. I'm getting sleepy. All I want to do is lie down. I think I'll just take a nap. Just a tiny one. I'll close my eyes for 10 seconds, that's all. Just 10 little seconds. Great. I just hope the questions aren't too dumb. A coat. I need to make it to shore by jumping from ice floe to ice floe and put on that coat before I freeze to death. There must be a pattern to the way these ice floes appear and disappear, but what? Oh my gosh! Whoever threw that ice ball at me must have set off an explosion that shattered the ice. And my jacket's gone. No wonder I'm so cold. Once I get all these pipes connected, I can turn on the cold water and cool this place off. I can't turn on the cold water yet. All the pipes aren't connected. Oh, it feels wonderful in here. I feel nice and toasty. I'm just going to stand here and absorb the warmth. This is so invigorating. The more time I spend soaking up the heat in here, the more time I'll be able to spend outside. Ugh. Looks like something around here is radioactive. Wait a minute, I can't clean this room yet. I don't know how. Shoot, I can't clean this room yet. I don't have anything to put the dirty laundry in. U.C. Brea. This bag must belong to Lou. Oh my gosh, it's full of explosives. U.C. Brea. This bag must belong to Lou. Oh my gosh, it's full of explosives. Lou is the one who's been making those craters. He lied to me. He has been looking for dinosaur bones. Wonder where this goes. This must be where I drop the laundry bag after I'm done cleaning all the rooms. Looks like somebody has their work cut out for them when it comes to shoveling off this pond. Guess I better get this pond shoveled off. Got it. Order up. Order up. Order up. Order up. Order up. I don't feel so hot. I think I better go lie down. Uh-oh. I'm not feeling so good. Oh boy, do I feel sick or what? Oh, my stomach. Eating undercooked food is definitely not a good idea. Ugh, I think my body's trying to tell me that I'm one lousy cook. Ouch! Ah! Yikes, that's hot. Ew. I don't think so. Yuck. Not that. Nah. I need to fold this omelet over. Time to fold it over. I should probably fold it over now. Sorry. There. All scrubbed and ready to go. All clean. Looks like Elsa was having major boyfriend problems. Hey! Ouch! You got lucky that time. Nice shot. Lucky, you're in for it now. Gotcha. She shoots, she scores. How do you like them apples? Take that. Right on the money. Yes. Contents deleted. Wonder why. There is growing speculation that the prestigious event will be held somewhere around Banff, specifically in the pristine countryside which borders Icicle Creek. Icicle Creek? Sounds like something around here is radioactive. The eyes on this thing are radioactive. I bet they're made out of rocks coated with radium too. So once I get her attention by saying her name, I can give her commands. Whoa! I better finish my housekeeping chores before I do anything else. I could get fired if I don't get all those rooms cleaned. I should get that maid stuff out of the way before I do anything else. Chantal's counting on me to get those rooms cleaned. I should go do that. I can't go anywhere. I still haven't cleaned all those rooms. I should get rid of this laundry bag before I forget. Oops, I need to drop this laundry bag down the chute upstairs. I don't want to carry dirty laundry around all day. I should get rid of this bag. Carrying this laundry bag around's a pain. I need to dump it down that chute upstairs. Pinevale Hospital. Tino's survey. Can't wait to see this. Avalanche Ridge. Ugh, not exactly reassuring. Wonder what this is. Looks like there's a phone number on it. It's all totally unfair. One day I will have justice. If Mr. Kessler wrote this, he sure sounds mad about something. That looks like a Geiger counter. What a weird thing to be chewing on. This measures radioactivity. I wonder if ISIS found it outside somewhere or in here. Wonder what kind of rock that is. Wonder what kind of rocks those are. Whoa, whatever this rock is sounds like it's radioactive. Whoa, whatever these rocks are sounds like they're radioactive. Oh yeah, definitely radioactive. Maybe it's uranium ore or something. The lanterns in here are basically just rocks hung in cages. I wonder what makes the rocks glow like that. Looks like the rocks in these lanterns are radioactive. Radioactive, just like Dr. Sabatini said. I'll bet these rocks were painted with radium, just like the eyes in those stuffed animals were. The eyes on this thing are radioactive. Wonder what they're made out of. What side of bed does suspect get up from? Hometown? Which planet does suspect identify with? Dislikes paprika? This is supposed to help us find out who's behind the accidents? Right. If I go outside without a coat, I'll freeze. I can't go outside, not without a coat. It's too cold. I should put on a coat before I go outside. Let's see, do I really want to go outside without a coat? I don't think so. I can't send this yet. First I have to call Tino and tell him to turn his machine on. I can't send this survey anywhere yet. I haven't filled it all out. The Call of the Wild. And often entertained celebrities at the lodge, including Teddy Roosevelt, Lizzie Applegate, Frederick Banting, Ernest Hemingway, and Marie Curie? Wow, Trapper Dan was quite the social butterfly. Ability to sort objects by scent. If she has an object in her mouth, she'll sniff, then drop the object near another object that has the same scent. Maybe I can use Isis and her incredible sense of smell to figure out who owns the notebook I found outside. All I have to do is get something from each of the people at the lodge, something that each of them has touched, then let Isis figure out which of their scents matches the scent on the notebook. Maybe I can use Isis and her incredible sense of smell to figure out who this belongs to. All I have to do is get something from each of the people at the lodge, something that each of them has touched, then let Isis figure out which of their scents matches the scent on the notebook. I shouldn't give Isis that. I should give her the notebook. I'll bet I'm supposed to use this tile to start with. So, I can rearrange these by continuing to drop the tile that falls out the bottom into one of the columns at the top. The question is, how should I rearrange them? Match the symbols and line them up in rows of 3, maybe? Can't pick that tile up yet. I'll just put you back where I found you. Bingo! A black snowmobiling outfit, and it's missing a piece of material. I'd sure like to know who this belongs to. Something shaped like a moose must go here. I need to put something shaped like a wolf here. This indentation looks kind of like a raccoon. A pig, that's what goes here. I think I'll keep one of these washcloths. I think I'll keep this washcloth. Ah, something that Ollie has touched. It'll help me use Isis to figure out who that notebook belongs to. Too small, and I don't think it's a northern pike. That won't do. Wrong again. Not what I need. That's a northern pike, but it's too small. Rats, too small. Close, but no cigar. Doesn't quite measure up. That fish is the right size, but it's not a northern pike. Right size, wrong fish. 2 feet, but not a northern pike. So close. Darn. Uh-oh, the sturgeon ate my line. I snagged a sturgeon. There goes my line. A sturgeon chewed right through my line. I snagged a log. There goes my line. I broke my line. My line just bit the dust. That's no fish. That's a mine. A mine? That can't be good. I probably shouldn't have done that. Possible sauropod scapula. Take to lab for precise ID. Sounds like whoever this notebook belongs to has the bone that's missing from the plaque in the lodge. Well, it's not Guadalupe's. Negative for Bill Kessler. Looks like it's not Yanni's. The notebook's not Ollie's. The first thing you need to do is crack my cipher below or just follow the moose, wolf, raccoon, and Mary. Looks like the rest is in some kind of code. Looks like the map to some kind of maze. Wonder where that goes. This must be how you get into that maze thing. It was definitely not made for humans. I can tell by those buttons where Isis is. She did it! Good girl! Mission accomplished. Now what? Somebody left me a note. That's for me. Who's this from? Empty. If there was a special master key in here, it's gone now. Uh-oh, I never made breakfast. Oh shoot, I skipped making lunch. Nuts, I didn't make dinner. No need to go in there till it's time to cook. Not time for kitchen duty yet. I'm staying out of there until I have to fix a meal. Long as it's not time to cook, I might as well stay out of the kitchen. It's way too cold to go out there now. I'm not going outside now, it's too cold. Go outside in sub-zero temperatures? I don't think so. If I go outside now, I'll freeze. Yikes, looks like Yanni has good reason to be so paranoid. The Rest of My Life by Julius McQuaid. The wolf followed me. I wonder if she expects me to do something. It's getting late. I'd better get back to the lodge. The sun is setting. I'd better head back. Once the sun sets, it's going to get really cold. I'd better head back. It's going to get dark soon and cold. I'm going in. Uh-oh, it's too late to walk back to the lodge now. I'd better spend the night here. If I try to walk back to the lodge now, I'll freeze. I'd better stay here for the night. It's too dark and too cold to head back to the lodge now. I'll just hunker down here for the night. A fossil. Cool. That's weird. The rock that had the fossil in it is gone. I don't need to go to Icicle Lake. Now that the fishing shack's gone, there's nothing to do there. Ski tracks. Probably Yanni's. I bet if I follow them, I'll wind up back at the lodge. Looks like some kind of house. Could someone be living there? Hello? Is anyone here? Doesn't sound like it. I better not follow this trail until I know for sure where it goes. Can't find Mary? Well, try pulling on that rope above the vaults. You'll just have to keep it taut. Mary always helped me with that. Mary must have been referring to his pet pig. That must be the rope trapper Dan talked about in his journal, the one that's supposed to open something in the lodge, which means I must be somewhere under the lodge. Well, I walked far enough, that's for sure. A nice fishing shack, a nice warm one at that. Well, at least it's nice and warm in here, so I won't freeze while I fish. Oh, there we go, a 2-foot northern pike. No more fishing for me. There's a note in one of the pockets. Looks like I've got to do that rope thing over. Once I get Isis to hang on to the rope, I better not dawdle. Once I get Isis to hang on to the rope, I better make a beeline for that boar's head. I'm getting the definite feeling I'm not wanted here. This must be the key Ollie said he'd leave for me, and this must be a list of which guest is in what room. That'll come in handy. Can't leave without the master key. I can't go yet. I don't have that key. I still need to get the key Ollie said he'd leave for me. Here we go, the master key. La-da-da-da-da. My jacket! Some things are missing. Maybe Lou went out and took them with him. Everything's here now. The tools that were missing before are here now. Maybe Lou always takes them with him when he goes out. Those look like wolf tracks. Maybe I should find out where they go. Ah, I don't know whose coat this is, but it sure feels good. Another explosion. Call 1555 Mystico and prepare to be amazed. Nice. Good one. Very smart. Gosh, you're good. Could be trouble. You're losing your touch. Thank you, Mr. Kessler. Yes, I win. Bingo. V for victory. Darn, you won. Nice job. Lost that one. Looks like you lose. Whew, I'm getting really hot. If I don't make it cooler in here, like fast, I'm a goner. I can't take this heat much longer. I'm running out of time. I've got to do something fast. If I can just get cold water running through these pipes, I'll be okay. I've got to get these pipes aligned before I pass out from the heat. If I don't get these pipes adjusted soon, I'm not going to make it. I don't have much time. I've got to get these pipes lined up now. Cold water intake. If I connect all these pipes, looks like cold water will start running through them and it'll cool off in here. Wonder what this rope and pulley do. That must be the rope trapper Dan mentioned in his journal. The one that opens up a surprise in the stairway leading to the rooms in the lodge. Okay if we start over? Let's start over. Can we go back to square one? I don't want to finish this game. Let's call it quits. I'm going to stop here. Neither of us can win now. Looks like it's a draw. Impasse. Looks like that's all I can do. Can't catch you now. Report all avalanches to the Avalanche Patrol. Trapper Dan started construction in 1894, winter of 1921, when he vanished without a trace. I'll bet those tracks lead back to the lodge. Easy, it's okay. I'm not real happy about the situation either. Help! I'm down here! Right under you! Can you hear me? Help! I can't breathe! Help! I'm down here! Right under you! Can you hear me? Help! I can't breathe! They heard me, thank goodness. They heard me, thank goodness. Sounded like an explosion. What's that noise? Oh no! I'm buried in snow. I've got to dig myself out before I run out of air. I'm buried in snow. I've got to dig myself out before I run out of air. I'll never make it. I can barely breathe. I'll never make it. I can barely breathe. Someone's up there. Someone's up there. It's gone, but thanks to that hole it dug, I can breathe again. Now if I can just pull myself out. It's gone, but thanks to that hole it dug, I can breathe again. Now if I can just pull myself up there. Wiki tiki pohaku, waiai pohaku. Wiki tiki pohaku, waiai pohaku. Do 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 do, la la la, aloha. Fight the power. Cake, cake, cake. Lulu want cake. Rude, very rude. Like a bullet from a gun, she arrives on the scene. Stay beautiful. As if that guy was such a jerk. I see you, I see you. Shh, I can't believe I fell for that. Spicy devil villain venom my foot. Want a cookie? They're from Oaxaca. Strix Varia. What was that guy thinking? I am Miles the Magnificent Memory Machine. Whales rule. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. Yep. Nope. I wonder who Felicity was. Zippily, zipping, zipful, zippy, zestful zeal. Cheeseburger. 100 euros. Are you foo? Sounds like she has her phone off the hook. I'll call back at a better time. Looks like I'm not the only one. Used to own it. How did you know there was a secret compartment in your room? A moose, a wolf, a raccoon, and a pig. The same animals Trapper Dan mentioned in his journal when it came to getting into his needle without the key. I'll bet that's what's behind this wall, a room below the needle. Next thing I have to do is get each of these panels open. I'll bet whatever's beneath Trapper Dan's needle is right behind this wall. Next thing I need to do is get the rest of these panels open. Trapper Dan, seen here with his pet pig, Mary. Chantal, this is my formal notice of resignation. Please call me at 555-2383 if you expect any delay with the check. Elsa. Can't find Mary? Well, try pulling on that rope above the vaults. You'll just have to keep it taut. Mary always helped me with that. Mary? Who or what was Mary? Wonder what's up with this disc thing. Another disc. They must serve some purpose, but what? I don't need snowshoes in here. I don't need to put these on now. I don't need snowshoes. I'll put these on when I'm ready to go outside. I feel warmer already. Much better. I was really cold. Warm again. It would be a waste to open this now. I should wait until I'm getting cold to open this. I should save this until I really need it. I'm already using a toasty pack. I don't need to open another one of these yet. If I open another toasty pack, I'll get 2 toasty. Nice and toasty. These toasty packs give off a lot of heat. That warmed me up. I'm too cold to go any further. It's just too cold to try to keep going. Unless I want to freeze to death, I'd better turn back. Feels like my toasty pack ran out of toasty. My toasty pack has stopped giving off heat. My toasty pack is stone cold. Guess I've gotten all the heat I'm going to out of this toasty pack. The pup, which I have been calling Isis. Oh man, talk about your freaky dreams. My subconscious needs to get a life. No reason to go to Icicle Lake anymore, not after someone blew it up like that. I can do stuff with a wolf later. Down, forward, jump, stay, bark, paw, left, right, around. I'm gonna start over. Let's try this again. Do-overs. Great, I can tell by these lights where Isis is in the vaults. She can't get through. Something's blocking the passage. Something's keeping her from getting to the end. Looks like some kind of gate is in her way. Oops. 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 That's not what I wanted her to do. Not quite what I had in mind. Back to the drawing board. This looks just like the drawing that was in Trapper Dan's journal. This must be a map to his vaults. Looks more like a maze. The entrance to Trapper Dan's vaults. I recognize it from his journal. Oh, hey! No, no, you! Ga, do, oh, hey, e, I, oh, ooh, oof, oof, oh, yikes, 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 ouchie, ack, 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 oh, Sounds like Ollie is out hunting the wolf again. I sure hope he missed. That ought to do it. Wait a second. Go back to Chicken Ridge and risk getting caught in another avalanche? I don't think so. No more avalanches for me, thank you very much. I'm not going out there again. Too dangerous. Since I can't go back the way I came, maybe these tracks will lead me to shelter. I can't fish. The tackle's ruined. I can't fish without a hook and line. No fishing for me, thanks to whoever trashed this place. Strange, it's empty. Wonder what this is for. This isn't an emergency. I'd better not open it. I'm only supposed to use this door if it's an emergency. I shouldn't open this door unless I absolutely have to. That's not what goes here. This is where I dump the laundry bag. This chute is for dirty laundry. I can't open this with that. What I need for this is the right key. I don't think that's going to cut it. That's not what goes here. That's not what I need for this. I need to give Isis the notebook. Giving her that's not going to do any good. This is where I got Lou's snowshoes. If I don't want Lou's snowshoes, this is where I need to leave them. I hope Lou won't mind my taking his snowshoes.
No, disregard all that. I'm here. Who's this? This is Nikki. Who's this? Yes. Well, Nancy Drew again. What can I do for you? Describe the device. Well, I'll be darned. Where did you say you found it? It's a geophone. Someone stole a whole crate of them from me when I was out on Skookum Ridge not too long ago. If you stick it in the ground, a geophone will detect seismic waves and turn them into electrical signals, which are then transmitted to a computer so they can be recorded and eventually interpreted. It lets geologists like me make maps of mineral deposits and such without doing any digging. See, if you stick it in the ground, a geophone will detect seismic waves and turn them into electrical signals, which are then transmitted to a computer so they can be recorded and eventually interpreted. It lets geologists like me make maps of mineral deposits and such without doing any digging. I was preparing to do a subsurface survey of the area using reflection seismology. I set up camp, stored all my equipment in a trailer, went into town for supplies, and when I came back, the trailer had been broken into, and all my geophones were gone. See, I was preparing to do a subsurface survey of the area using reflection seismology. I set up camp, stored all my equipment in a trailer, went into town for supplies, and when I came back, the trailer had been broken into, and all my geophones were gone. I was going to be the first person to do a full geological survey of the Icicle Creek drainage and the ridges surrounding it. Got grant money and everything. The person who ripped off my equipment sure screwed that up for me. If I ever get my hands on him... Oh! It was snowing, so there were no tracks. So I don't know if he came by car or snowmobile or on foot or what. I'm assuming it was a guy, because he only took the geophones, so he must have known what they were and how to use them. And since not that many women are into explosives, in a way, you see, the seismic waves that geophones detect are man-made. You detonate something on the surface of the ground, and the concussion creates seismic waves which bounce off different geological features differently, depending on the impedance of the feature. The reflected waves are what the geophones detect and transmit. Correct. All kinds of deposits. Silver, lead, uranium, molybdenum. I love saying that word, molybdenum. I think that's why I became a geologist. Just so I'd have a reason to say molybdenum. Anyway, if you come across any more of my geophones, or anything that would indicate who stole them, please, please, please let me know. Good. Precious little, I'm afraid. I know it's possible to find good specimens in Alberta, particularly in your area, but beyond that, paleontology's not really my thing, and all my paleo pals are currently off digging in the dirt on the other side of the world, so I'm afraid I can't refer you to anyone either. The closer you get to a source of radiation, the more they click. They've been around for about 100 years, they're portable. Assuming the Geiger counter is measuring radiation in the environment and not in, say, a nuclear power plant, I wouldn't worry about it. When it comes to exposure to radiation, even the experts can't agree on what's safe and unsafe. And the fact is, you're exposed to radiation every single day. You can't avoid it. You absorb cosmic rays from space, ingest carbon-14 in food, inhale radon from the ground. You even get a dose of radiation whenever you watch TV, albeit a teeny tiny one. Plus, it's a cumulative thing. Is it okay to get your arm x-rayed? Sure. Is it okay to get your arm x-rayed every day for a year? Probably not a good idea. But will it positively increase your risk of cancer? Depends on how much other radiation you're routinely exposed to. And your health habits. And your genetic makeup. Exactly. Unless the object that's giving you the high reading is labeled plutonium, of course. You'd definitely be up a creek then. What'd this piece of rock look like? Probably uraninite. It's one of the minerals I expect to find if I get another chance to survey the area. It's the chief ore from which uranium is extracted. Well, it has to go through a very complicated and expensive enrichment process before it can be put to either of those purposes. But uranium from uraninite can be used that way, yes. The process of enriching uranium to the point where it can be put to use is so complicated and expensive that for people like you and me, no. Uraninite is virtually worthless, I suppose. Sure. Seems to me I read somewhere that Marie Curie, you know, the woman who discovered radium, I read that she visited what's-his-face, the guy who built the lodge way back when. Right. She visited Trapper Dan. So my guess is those lanterns contain pieces of phosphorescent rock that were coated with radium, something she would have shown him how to do. Well, I wouldn't go touching them, and I certainly wouldn't sit under them and read War and Peace or anything. It's kind of like being in the same room as a rattlesnake. Just keep your distance, leave it alone, and you should be fine. Right. She visited Trapper Dan. So my guess is those eyes are actually pieces of phosphorescent rock that were coated with radium, something she would have shown him how to do. As long as they aren't touching the eyes or spending a lot of time in close proximity to them, probably not. But because they are an unnecessary source of radiation that can be easily removed, I would advise doing just that, ASAP. As uranium decays, radium's produced. It's so radioactive that it glows. When a small amount of radium is combined with a naturally luminescent material, the radiation from the radium causes the material to glow as well. If someone had the technical expertise, yes. Although reflection seismology is more typically employed to locate deposits of hydrocarbons, like oil and gas. Other than studying? If you're a scientist, no. But because they're obviously rare, a lot of people collect them. In fact, I understand there's a pretty big black market for them. People pay big money for them. One more thing. All of my geophones were hardwired to transmit at 990 kilohertz. So if you find any kind of receiver tuned to that frequency, check it out, because it could very well belong to the thief. Bye. No problem. Bye. No biggie. Bye. No sweat. Bye. You've reached the office of Dr. Nikki Sabatini, Professor of Geology at the University of Alberta, Camrose. At the sound of the beep, leave a message, or just call me again. Whatever. You've reached the office of Dr. Nikki Sabatini, Professor of Geology at the University of Alberta, Camrose. The sound of the beep?
Isis. Hi, is this Mr. Jenkins? Hi, Carl, this is Nancy Drew again. Hi, this is Nancy Drew. But you don't have This is Nancy Drew again. Well, my name is Nancy Drew. I heard that you had an accident at Icicle Creek Lodge and wondered if you could tell me a little more about it. Do you know why you slipped on those stairs? I understand the stairs were a little icy. Phone number. Can't you press the pause button just for a second? Then I'm just going to have to keep calling you. Don't do that. Look, Ugh. Jump. Left. Well, no. I've kind of been putting it off. So you go to school in California? What kind of degree are you working on? Is this your winter break? Cool. So what's your favorite medium? What are you going to do with a Master of Fine Arts degree? Where'd you learn to snowshoe? How'd you hear about this place? I'm sorry, I don't think I heard you correctly. You paint with dirt? Is this your first time at the lodge? So, you like to snowshoe? Is it a hard sport to learn? Think you could teach me sometime? What do you think about all the weird things that have been happening around here? Who broke it? Was anything missing from your room? What inspired you to become an art major? I beg your pardon? You were inspired by dirt? These? Oh, I was just cleaning them. Oh, yeah, sure. And then I'll just finish cleaning your room. Have fun. Oh, that was close. Would it be all right if I borrowed your snowshoes? I wouldn't need them for long, just for an hour or so. I don't really have to borrow yours. Any old pair would do. Do you think I could have the Rex bone that you took from that plaque by the display case? Because you referred to it in your notebook, which I found outside in the snow. Because it's probably a dinosaur bone, and I read about that incident in Montana, the one where you were caught digging up dinosaur bones. Someone who has a really good nose for such things is positive that it's yours. I don't think so. Of course, I could always call the police and see what they think. So when you saw those stools over there, you recognized them to be dinosaur bones and decided to try to unearth more. And because you want to find more bones like the one from that plaque, you've been using explosives rather than a shovel around here to dig them up. All those dinosaur bones you have in your closet, don't you think you should turn them over to the owner of this place since you found them on her property? 70-30. She gets 70%, you get 30. Do you ever see anyone else when you're out there snowshoeing? Do you ever hear explosions? Do you ever see the wolf? I was just wondering, what planet do you most identify with? I'm sorry, I meant in our solar system. But there is no Planet X. So you identify with Planet X. Nice talking to you. I'll catch you later. Well, I'll let you go. Well, good luck with the game. Hi, this is Nancy Drew at the Icicle Creek Lodge. We met the other night when you were investigating the bunkhouse explosion. Hi, this is Nancy Drew again. I don't need to leave a message. Might as well leave a message. Well, I found a melted clock face close to where the bunkhouse used to be, and I wondered if it could have been what triggered the explosion. You know, the timer. Oh, right. C4? You mean Ollie Randall can go after that white wolf that's been hanging around outside the lodge and just shoot it? Somehow that doesn't seem right. No, it sounded like someone had set off a bomb. In fact, afterwards I found a crater, like someone had deliberately blown a hole in the ground underneath the snow. He didn't see anything except the explosion, which apparently went off right next to him. He didn't see anything except the explosion, which I'm pretty sure is the same one I mentioned to you before. No, because he's a cross-country skiing champion and he's convinced it was one of his competitors. Apparently the governments of the people he's beaten are as ruthless as they are sore losers. I just thought you should know that his life may be in danger. I don't know. Investigate? Thanks for your help. I'll let you get back to work. Hi, Sheriff. It's Nancy Drew. Nothing urgent. I'm just kind of checking in, so if I don't hear from you, I'll call you back later. Bye. I'm sorry. This is Nancy Drew. Bruno? Cool. Yes, Mystico. Huh? Oh, right. Yes, Mystico the Magnificent. A hint. A reason for being? Some spice in my life? Something very special. To be hypnotized. Okay. Then how about, hi, this is Nancy Drew. Huh? Oh, great. Well, thanks for your help. Hi, Ned. It's Nancy. I woke you up, didn't I? Sorry, I should have checked the time. Hi, Ned. It's Nancy. Can you talk? Or would you rather I call back at a more decent time? Hi, Ned. Hi, Ned. It's Nancy. Me again. Hey, Ned. Hi, Ned. No coverage out here. I'm in the middle of the Canadian Rockies, remember? Well, as a matter of fact, just as I got here, the bunkhouse blew up. A lone wolf has been seen and heard hanging out around the lodge lately. Or it could have been an accident. The sheriff is running some tests, and I haven't taken a really good look at the crime scene yet. I'm not sure yet. I did find a melted clock face and all the debris, which, if the explosion was caused by a bomb, may have been part of the timer. In fact, I should probably call the sheriff and see what he thinks. Looks that way. The sheriff found traces of a plastic explosive called C4 on some of the debris. Looks that way, yeah. Apparently one of the handyman's jobs is to get rid of it, although as far as I can tell, the only thing it does is howl at weird times. The handyman, Ollie Randall, is bound and determined to get rid of it. Says it doesn't act the way normal wolves act. No, what's cool is that it dug me out of an avalanche and saved my life. I don't know. Yet. No, what's cool is that somebody apparently trained it. She was kind of like his pet. No, what's cool is that somebody apparently trained it. I came across the commands he'd use, and now I can give her commands. Practically the first thing that happened when I got to the lodge is the bunkhouse blew up. A lone wolf has been hanging out around the lodge lately. Bad news. Chantal is insisting that if I need help, I get it from this police consultant she hired, a guy named Tino Balducci.
Not that cop.
That's the one. All I know is she thinks he's charming, and for this case I have to get all my hints from him. Someone introduced them and he charmed her into hiring him, and now I have to get all my hints from him. Actually, so far he has been helpful. No way, are you kidding? Not a chance. Yanni Volkstaya, the cross-country skier? Someone threw a bomb at him while he was out on the slopes training. I guess. I heard the explosion myself. Whatever it was, it left a small crater. I saw it myself. He says the people he competes against are totally ruthless. In fact, someone blew up the bunkhouse right after I arrived, and Yanni is convinced it was them. He thinks they were trying to intimidate him. I think he's just being paranoid. I think he could very well be right. He says the people he competes against are totally ruthless. In fact, he's convinced they're the ones who blew up the bunkhouse. He thinks they were trying to intimidate him. From what I've read, he's a pretty ruthless competitor. He's probably made a lot of enemies. In fact, someone blew up the bunkhouse right after I arrived. Yanni thinks it was someone trying to intimidate him. From what I've read, Yanni is a pretty ruthless competitor. He's probably made a lot of enemies. In fact, he's convinced that his competitors are the ones who blew up the bunkhouse. He thinks they were trying to intimidate him. Someone may be using explosives around here, but I really don't think they're doing it just to get rid of Yanni Volkstaya. That I intend to find out. Someone is definitely using explosives around here, and if Yanni's enemies are even half as determined as he says they are, it's quite possible that one of the people now at the lodge is working for them. Maybe they're trying to scare him into quitting. What I can't figure out is who left those old photos of Bill Kessler for me in the sauna. Yeah, they proved that Bill Kessler lied when he said this was his first visit to Icicle Creek Lodge. Turns out his grandmother used to own the place. Actually, right after I found the pictures, the door closed behind me and I couldn't get out. If I hadn't managed to fill the pipes with cold water instead of hot, and if Bill Kessler hadn't finally opened the door, we wouldn't be having this conversation, or any other for that matter. Looks that way. I don't think so. Maybe someone left the pictures for me and someone else followed me downstairs and locked me in. Maybe the two are totally unrelated. Not necessarily. Maybe Kessler opened the door only because he figured by then my goose had been cooked, as it were. He did look pretty surprised when he saw me. I think the door closed behind me and got stuck by accident. Are you familiar with a book by Jack London called The Call of the Wild? Because I found a copy of it in Lou's room. I was thinking the same thing. I kinda doubt it. He does spend a lot of time outside by himself. He says he's snowshoeing, but maybe he's up to something else. Something that ties in with the wolf somehow. He does spend a lot of time outside by himself. He says he's snowshoeing, but maybe he's figured out how to communicate with the wolf, too. Maybe he's using the wolf somehow. Yeah, that could be, too. I mean, he does stick up for the wolf, and he could be up to something outside besides snowshoeing. But if he is, I doubt it involves the wolf. I can't see Lou dealing with animals. He's just too laid back. I think so. Guadalupe Comillo says she's a bird watcher, but I'm not so sure. For one thing, most birders will go on for hours about the birds they've seen or the birds they want to see, but not her. In fact, birds seem to be the last thing on her mind. The alarm clock from her room is missing. She just doesn't seem to have the patience a person would need to spend all day looking for birds. I found a melted clock face in the debris left behind when the bunkhouse exploded. It could have been part of the timing device. The melted clock face I found and the debris left behind when the bunkhouse exploded, remember? The one that could have been part of the timing device? Hey, women can blow things up too, you know. At the very least, they can help blow things up. I don't know that. Yet. Guadalupe Camillo admitted she came to Icicle Creek Lodge not to watch birds, but to protect the wolf. Yep. Well, I suppose that she and that organization she belongs to might feel the best way to protect the wolf is by forcing Chantal to shut down the lodge, but she's just so passionate about the wolf. I respect that, and I guess it makes me want to give her the benefit of the doubt. Well, for one thing, she's not at the lodge anymore. Ollie kicked her out. This guy named Trapper Dan built Icicle Creek Lodge around the turn of the last century, and you wouldn't believe how many famous people he entertained here. Teddy Roosevelt, Ernest Hemingway, even Marie Curie stayed here. Yep, which would explain why Trapper Dan painted the eyes of some of the critters he stuffed and mounted with radium so they'd glow. Maybe Marie Curie brought some with her and gave it to him. Maybe there's uranium ore around here and he mined it. I did come across a rock that was radioactive out on the trail. Maybe Trapper Dan got the radium from mining. I did come across a rock that I think is uranium ore out on the trail. Maybe Trapper Dan got the radium from mining. Guess who else was one of Trapper Dan's guests at the lodge? Lizzie Applegate. That's her. Yep. Let's not go reliving my life here. It's the same Lizzie Applegate. The guy who built Icicle Creek Lodge also built this weird concrete pyramid thing nearby that everyone calls Trapper Dan's Needle. No one knows, but there was a piece of black nylon-type fabric sticking out of it, like there's a door in it and someone had snagged their clothes on it on their way in. Right. Someone dressed in a black snowmobiling suit decked me with an ice ball, and when I came to, the lake had been blown to pieces and I was stranded on an ice floe. I am now, but remember that piece of black fabric I saw sticking out of Trapper Dan's Needle? It's a definite possibility, and if that person also blew up the lake, he or she could be the same person who blew up the bunkhouse. Lou Talbot admitted that the real reason he came to the lodge was to find dinosaur bones, but he denied being the one who's been setting off explosives around here. Sure, not for a second. Unfortunately, it doesn't really matter. He's gone, just suddenly left, right after he admitted everything. I think it means he was telling the truth. I think it means he was lying. Mostly because I can see him digging up bones with a shovel or something, but using explosives? He's just too laid back. Nope. I think he could be trying to scare everyone into leaving the lodge so that Chantal would be forced to shut it down. That way he could dig up all the bones around here in peace. I think he was afraid I'd go to the sheriff, so he figured he'd better get while the getting was good. In fact, maybe he's not really gone. Maybe he's just gone into hiding. Maybe he intends to hang around and keep trying to make Chantal shut down the lodge so he can dig for dinosaur bones in peace. Bill Kessler is convinced that Chantal's father cheated his grandmother when she sold him the lodge, but Bill denies that he's been sabotaging the lodge to get back at him. Yes, but I think he's telling the truth. Right, which is why I'm not sure I believe him. I mean, he didn't have to admit that his grandmother used to own this place. He could have made something up. The fact that he told the truth, incriminating as it is, makes me think he's innocent. Yanni has a radio hidden in his room. He says it's so he can communicate with his coaches without his competitors listening in. Nah, he's telling the truth. Just what I was thinking. After all, he's the one who's been dodging bombs out there on the trail. True, but what would he be up to out there if he's not really training? Maybe he's not training when he goes out on the slopes every day. Maybe he's up to something entirely different. But what? It could be that all the explosions around here are being caused by someone looking for valuable mineral deposits. I had a long talk with this geology professor. She told me it's possible to determine the composition of underground deposits by setting off explosives above ground and analyzing the seismic waves that bounce off the deposits. Right. Gold or uranium, maybe. Trapper Dan could have mined the radium he coated stuff with. Gold or uranium, maybe. Trapper Dan proved you can find that around here. Har har. Ollie's on the avalanche patrol, which means he knows how to handle explosives. He's got the temperament for it, I can guarantee you that. What I'm not sure about is why he'd be the mad bomber. Maybe, although he did mention that Chantal promised him a raise that he still hasn't gotten, and I don't get the feeling that he particularly likes her. It's more like he tolerates her. Although he did mention that he wanted to get back into ranching for himself, said all he was lacking was the right property and enough cash. although he did mention that he wanted to get back into ranching for himself. No property and no cash. Which reminds me, Chantal hasn't gotten around to giving him the raise she promised him. He seemed a tad bitter about that. You really think she'd sell the lodge to Ollie? I'd better get going. I will. Bye. That's all I have to report. Got it. Bye. It was great talking to you. I miss you too. Bye, Ned. Gotta go. I'll call you again. Goodbye, Ned. I'll just call back. Nancy Drew. Again. This is Nancy Drew. My name is Nancy Drew. I'm staying at the Icicle Creek Lodge, and I recently came across some kind of device that had your phone number on it. Well, it has a spike on one end of it, and... Well, actually, someone's dog was using it as a chew toy. She must have found it outside somewhere. You know what it is? What's a geophone? Why were you on Skookum Ridge? You have no idea who it was? When you say seismic waves, are you talking about earthquakes? Explosives? So, to put the geophones to use, you need to blow things up? I will. What do you know about dinosaur bones? I came across a Geiger counter. What can you tell me about them? Do you know what range of radiation is unsafe? In other words, if I'm getting a high reading on my Geiger counter, it doesn't necessarily mean I'm in imminent danger? Somebody blew a hole in the ground near Icicle Creek Lodge, and near it I found a piece of rock that appears to be very radioactive. Kind of a dull, brownish black. Uranium, as in atom bombs and nuclear power? Is it valuable? Say a group of people has a lot of money and expertise, or a government. Could somebody like that benefit from finding and eventually mining uraninite? I found an underground passageway that's lit entirely by lanterns containing chunks of some kind of glowing rock. Trapper Dan, are the lanterns dangerous? I found an underground passageway that's lit entirely by lanterns containing big chunks of radioactive glowing rocks. The eyes of some of the animals that were stuffed and mounted at Icicle Creek Lodge not only glow, they're radioactive. What do you think they're made out of? Is that a health risk? Are the people in the lodge in any kind of danger? It looks like the eyes of some of the animals that have been stuffed and mounted at Icicle Creek Lodge have radium-coated rocks for eyes. Are the people there in any kind of danger? How does that work? That's interesting. So, if someone were looking for valuable mineral deposits, they might use geophones to do it? What types of mineral deposits are likely to be found around the Icicle Creek drainage? Are dinosaur bones good for anything? Black market? You mean people pay money for dinosaur bones? Thank you for answering my questions. I appreciate your taking the time to talk to me. I've taken you away from your job long enough. I just thought it'd be a good idea to talk to you before I talk to the guests. You look busy. What are you making? I've talked to all the guests, so I thought maybe it was time to talk to you. I'm just trying to get the lay of the land, or the lay of the lodge in this case. Uh-oh, Chantal's not gonna like that. Do you have any idea why? Not yet. Darn, I keep forgetting. Can I ask you what you're making? Then why aren't you trying to find out who's behind all these accidents? You think the wolf is causing the accidents? Why do you say that? Does Ms. Mawikwe know you're doing this? But it's not like it's attacking people. You want to destroy it just because it howls at weird times? Freddie? Oh, yeah. She's got a pretty mean arm on her. No, but you mentioned that her name is Freddie? Was Freddie the one who broke Lou Talbot's window? That would explain how his window got broken. She threw an ice ball, it broke the window, then melted, making it look like the window shattered on its own. On second thought, maybe I should discuss this with Chantal. How long have you worked for Chantal? Have you ever been in the guest lodge business before? The first time I talked to Chantal, she mentioned you used to be a rancher. Do you miss ranching? Does your wife, Freddie's mom, does she live here too? How do you explain what happened to Carl Jenkins, the former guest who slipped on the stairs and broke his leg? You're positive they were clear and dry? Could a broken pipe or something have been to blame? Mr. Kessler told me to shovel the snow off the pond, but I'm not sure how to go about it. Have you seen that strange concrete monument thing that's out there on the trail? Is there a way to get into it, do you know? What can you tell me about it? Have you ever seen Trapper Dan's needle? Do you know if there's a way to get into it? Can you think of any reason why somebody would be carrying around a bullet? I found a bullet on the floor in the lobby. But it's not hunting season, is it? By the window where Guadalupe Comillo is always watching for birds. I found a bullet on the floor by the window where Guadalupe Comillo is always watching for birds. What do you mean? You don't really think it was hers, do you? Did you know there was an avalanche at Chicken Ridge? No, should I? I thought I'd tell you about it first. The Avalanche Patrol asked me to tell you that the explosives training session in Calgary has been postponed till next month. So you're on the Avalanche Patrol, huh? I think you were right about the wolf not being normal. You want me to check it out? You bet. But I've never driven a snowmobile before. Yep, no avalanche. Not yet. Oops, I forgot. Sure did. I always do what I'm told, Mr. Randall. Would you happen to know the combination to the lock on the display case that has the snowshoes in it? I couldn't help but overhear the argument you and Ms. Camillo had. Have you told Chantal that you threw her out? Do you think she was responsible for any of the other stuff that happened around here? Someone went into the ice fishing shack and ruined all of Bill Kessler's equipment. So much for trying to catch a bigger fish than Mr. Kessler. Problem is, Mr. Kessler still insists that I try to catch a 2-foot northern pike. You don't by any chance have a hook and line I could borrow, do you? No, I don't suppose you can. Can you tell me more about the accidents that have been happening around here? But I kinda need to know. You can't or you don't want to. There's your snowmobile key. The Avalanche Patrol asked me to tell you that the explosives training session in Calgary has been postponed till next month. What do you mean? I'll let you get back to work. I'd better get back upstairs. That's all the questions I had. I'll get out of your hair now. Icicle Creek Lodge? Never mind. I'm calling from the Icicle Creek Lodge, but I wanted to report an avalanche at Chicken Ridge. Actually, I'm calling on behalf of Ollie Randall. He wanted me to tell you that there hasn't been any avalanche activity out at Skookum Ridge. I really don't have anything to report. No, that's just where I'm calling from. I'm not reporting an avalanche. No problem. Yeah? No, I guess not. Not anymore. The handyman here at the lodge? Explosives training? I'll tell him. One more thing. No problem. No problem. Oh, could I ask you something? Now could you tell me something? If you're on foot out in the backcountry, how can you avoid triggering an avalanche? Thanks for the advice. Bye. Have any of you guys been setting off explosives anywhere near the Icicle Creek Lodge recently? Well, thanks. Bye. Paw. Run and grow free. Right. Hi, is this Brenda and Derek Southwaite? I'm not selling anything. I just want to ask you about your recent stay at Icicle Creek Lodge. I heard something about your almost being overcome by fumes in the sauna. Well, I appreciate the advice. Have fun. Stay. I'm not sure helped is the right word, Mr. Balducci. She sure did. Well, the questions are very... No, not yet. I sure am. I sure did. Yep. Actually, it's not. Nothing really. Just thought I'd call and kind of check in. I'm curious. How do you know Chantal? Well, I guess I could use a hint about something. Chantal said I should talk to you if and when something has me stumped. Nope, I'm good. How many clients do you have? I guess maybe I could use some advice. Nope, I'm good. Maybe later. Bye. That's not quite the word I was going to use, but anyway, I did have one question. It looks like you want me to fill out the survey for everyone at the lodge but Ollie. Why is that? So? You're probably right. No offense, but I think you're wrong. Nothing? That you're ripping her off? That you're a professional? Got it. Why would somebody lie about liking paprika? Sorry. Got it. I guess maybe I could use a hint. Think you could give me a hint? I'm kind of in the market for a hint. I think I need a hint. Well, the questions were very... That's not quite the word I was going to use, but anyway, I did have one question. You wanted me to fill out the survey for everyone at the lodge but Ollie. Why is that? You bet. I know. Do it over. No problem. I gotta do it over. I'll do it again. I'll do it over. But Bill Kessler likes to ice fish. Guadalupe Camillo is the one who likes to birdwatch. Yanni Volkstaya is a champion skier. And Lou Talbot likes to snowshoe. But you were kind of right. I mean, you did pretty much describe everyone at the lodge. How did you come up with that survey anyway? Yes, to the display case. What is it? How is it that you know Chantal? Ollie's daughter, Freddie, won't let me past her snow fort until I beat her in a snowball fight. Any suggestions on how I can do that? Chantal's new mate, me, kinda has a problem. I've never been a maid before. How do I go about it? Any words of wisdom when it comes to shoveling off the skating pond without falling through the ice? It's so cold here it's putting a damper on my investigation. How can I stay outside longer? Toasty packs? Bill Kessler wants me to catch a 2-foot northern pike, only my fishing skills seem to be pretty much non-existent. I'm stumped when it comes to figuring out the hometowns of the guests at the lodge without just coming out and asking them. I don't get how I'm supposed to know what side of the bed everybody gets up on without asking them. Ollie kicked Guadalupe Camillo out of the lodge, which means I'm going to have a problem filling out that survey of yours. I have to find out what side of the bed she gets out of. How subtle can I be? Right. Any idea what fits in that strange indentation on the wall in the hut where the wolf hangs out? Any suggestions when it comes to using the wolf's sense of smell to figure out who lost that notebook I found? But what about Ollie? He's not a guest. I collected a personal item from everybody. What do you think I should do next? A lot of Trapper Dan's journal is written in a code that consists of 2 lines of jumbled up letters. Any idea how to decipher it? Thanks to ISIS, all the panels on the locked door to the needle have been opened. What's next? I found this underground area with what looks like the map of a maze on the wall. How can I find out what it means? I found Trapper Dan's journal, but a lot of it is in some kind of code consisting of 2 lines of jumbled up letters. Any idea how to decipher it? I could use some help when it comes to unlocking the door to that strange hut I found. How do I go about opening that pyramid thing that's by the entrance to the dining room? Any suggestions when it comes to opening that pyramid thing in the lobby again? Not mooses, just moose. Sorry. I could use some advice when it comes to solving the puzzle that appeared when I stuck the Rex bone in the indentation in the wall in that hut. Yeah? Do you have any idea what Trapper Dan meant when he wrote about pulling on the rope above the vaults to open up a surprise that's supposed to help me find Mary? Why am I not surprised? Yeah, I know. Okay, then what? What can you tell me about the colored discs that are above the doors upstairs in the lodge? I have no idea what the deal is with those weird diagrams in Trapper Dan's journal. Do you? Yeah? Keep going. How am I supposed to play fox and geese with a pig instead of a fox? Maybe what I find when I pull on the rope above the vaults and give the raccoon a rap on the schnoz, maybe that's what I'm supposed to use instead of the fox to play fox and geese. Maybe that little pig I found when I gave the raccoon a rap on the nose, maybe that's what I'm supposed to use instead of the fox to play fox and geese. I've already played fox and geese using the little pig I found instead of the fox, so I guess I'm on the right track. Up is an elevator. Then what? I'd better go. I changed my mind. I'll talk to you later. That does it for now. Never mind. Maybe later. See ya. I think that'll do it. On second thought, I don't need a hint. Maybe next time. Thanks for the tip. Sounds good. You've been a big help. Excellent. In fact, Tino, I'm a little surprised you're still in law enforcement, considering some of the unethical, if not illegal, stunts you pulled back then. Looks like. I got the survey Chantal said you wanted me to conduct. Unfortunately, I really haven't looked at it yet.
No, I'm afraid we weren't. When he came in, all he had were the clothes on his back. No wallet, nothing. We turned his clothes over to the authorities along with his remains. But last I heard, they weren't able to locate any relatives either. I'm sure by now he's been cremated. Pinevale Hospital, Nurse Blake speaking. Oh yes, Julius McQuaid. I remember him well. Was he a relative, dear? Yes, dear. Viral pneumonia. As I recall, we admitted him and he was gone less than 24 hours later. From his appearance, it looked as if he'd spent the last several years holed up somewhere in the wilderness. That's why I remember him. I felt sorry for him, living all alone like that. Well, that's good to hear. Sorry the news couldn't have been better. Goodbye, dear. You have reached Pinevale Hospital. All our doctors and nurses are busy right now. Please try again later. Thank you.
Is something wrong? Are you Yanni Volkstaya? Are you all right? You seem upset. I am not disturbing your routine? There is? By all means, explain away. No, I'm not a guest. I'm Nancy Drew, the new maid, and the new cook. I understand. You think someone's spying on you way out here? You think it was a bomb? Did you see anyone? Do you think they're responsible for all the accidents that have been happening around here as well? We're in the middle of nowhere. Just where do you think these people are hanging out? Have you ever seen the wolf while you were out training? You don't really believe that, do you? Really? Are you serious? How? That's terrible. If she died, how do you know that's what happened? Ever see Lou Talbot when you're out there training? I really need to get somewhere in the backcountry and was thinking you could maybe give me a cross-country ski lesson or two. Why do you have a radio hidden away in your room? All I know is when I got done cleaning the moose head, that compartment was open. And when I looked in it, there was the radio. Now you answer my question. How did you know there was a secret compartment in your room? What makes you so sure that your competitors are in the area? If I was working for the competition, why would I have told you about finding your radio? I'm no spy, Mr. Volksteyer. I'm just very observant. No one. The secret compartment that's in your room, how did you ever find it? Do you have any proof that your competitors are out there spying on you? How do you manage to stay outside for so long when it's so cold out there? Would you mind telling me what planet you most identify with? Actually, Pluto's not a planet anymore. I hear that a major cross-country skiing competition may be held in this area in a couple of years. Could that be the real reason you came here to train? I also hear that you can be pretty imaginative when it comes to gaining an edge on your competition. Chantal would like to use your name and picture on her website when she gets it up and running. Would that be okay? Oh, well, so much for that. I've disturbed you long enough. Thanks for taking the time to talk to me. You're busy, so I'll let you go. That's all for now.
Need something? What you need? Lou Talbot's gone, in case you didn't know. Just up and left. Oh, before I forget, Chantal called. Told me I can answer any questions you might have about those accidents after all. Guess she changed her mind. You check out Skookum Ridge? Well, I'm afraid you're wasting your time. I ain't much of a talker. I don't get things said, I get 'em done. Well, this is my workshop. I'm building something that's gonna solve all our problems, 'cause I already know. A wolf trap. One that'll finish off that thing out there once and for all. Not a doubt in my mind. Everything was A-OK till it showed up and started howling. It's bad luck, and something's protecting it. Something unnatural. Yesterday I went looking for it. I tracked it and finally found it, sitting across the creek, not 20 yards away from me, just staring at me. So I raised my rifle, drew a bead, and fired. Easiest shot I've ever taken in my life. She knows she doesn't want that thing around her guests, and you heard her. I'm supposed to do whatever I think is necessary to get rid of it. Let me tell you something. So I fired again, and I missed, and then I missed again, and all the while it just sat there staring until finally it just stood up, walked toward the brush just as calm as could be, and disappeared. Wild animals just don't act like that, and I just don't miss like that. There's something real weird about that wolf, and I ain't gonna rest till I get rid of it. So maybe we should just find something else to jaw about. You met my little girl yet? She sure does. Of course, that little snow fort she built is pretty much her whole life. Yep. Spends most of her time outside. She built herself a little snow fort. Just sits out there waiting for somebody to go by so she can pick a snowball fight with them. I keep asking her how she manages to stay warm all day, but she won't tell me. Says she's got a secret weapon. Yeah, she's something. Where'd you get that idea? So Freddie threw an ice ball and broke the window. But me and her had a long talk and it's never gonna happen again. Which means there's no reason to go blabbing any of this to Chantal. She's not real fond of kids to begin with. And it's not like Freddie meant to hit Lou's window. About a year and a half. I was her first hire. Best hire, too. I could run this place single-handed if I had to, just like I'm doing now. I tried my hand at it once. Long story short, didn't work out. Yeah, a little. Tough life, though. Owned my own spread about 15 years ago. Well, bank owned most of it. And after 2 bad winters and 1 bone-dry summer, the bank owned all of it. But I've learned a whole lot since then. I could make it work now. Just need to find the right property, get my hands on enough cash to make a down payment, that's all. In the summer she does, but in the winter she goes south. See, she's got this nerve condition that makes her real sensitive to cold. Freddie'd like to go with her, but until Chantal stops putting off giving me that raise she promised me, sending Freddie south too is out of the question. Can't explain it. One minute those stairs were clear and dry, next minute they're slick with ice and he's lying at the bottom of them. Yep, chipped every bit of frozen snow off of them myself. This place hasn't had so much as a leaky faucet since I came aboard. I keep everything screwed down tight and running right. You ask me, somebody iced those stairs down on purpose. 'Cause it wasn't nothing I did, no sir. No sir. Read the instructions that are in the employee manual in your room, or check the computer in the lobby. Just be careful when you're out on the ice. It can get real thin real fast on account of thermal pockets in the water. Trapper Dan's needle? Course. Don't know, don't really care. All I can tell you is, it was built by the same stir-crazy old guy who built this place. Maybe something in that display up in the lobby will tell you what you want to know. Course. Sure, they want to shoot something. Where in the lobby? Only for wolves and other such varmints. It's always hunting season for them. Well, now that's real interesting. I don't trust that lady. Let's just leave it at that. Sure didn't. Not surprised, though. You call the avalanche patrol? You better give those employee instructions I left in your room another look. Reporting avalanches is part of your job. Well, hallelujah. I didn't really want to go anywhere until I finished off that wolf. Now I won't have to. Yep, course I'm right. Dang, I just remembered. Patrol wants me to keep an eye on Skookum Ridge for the next couple of weeks. Here, there's the key to the snowmobile. Take it out to Skookum Ridge and see if there's been an avalanche. Seat it so you don't have to worry about the cold. Make sure you call the patrol and give them a report when you're done. You can handle that, can't you? Just head down the driveway, then follow the red flags. They mark the way to the ridge. It ain't rocket science. You make a report to the avalanche patrol? That's okay. I'll call them. What else do you want? Only person who'd know that is Chantal. Just cross your fingers that she wrote it down. Gal's got a memory like a butterfly net. Of course, there's no need for you to go repeating that. She messed up my rifle so I couldn't shoot that wolf, so I tossed her out. Told her to take her little crusade somewhere else. No, not yet. She's not going to be happy. But by golly, that woman was a menace. Anybody who deliberately sabotaged a man's rifle is capable of anything. But at least now I know why I missed that wolf. And like I told her as I was giving her the bum's rush, next time, I won't miss. Probably some animal-loving eco-fanatic who figured it was time to save the fish. Say no more. There's my tackle box. It's all yours. Kessler tried to rope me into competing with him, but I can't very well do that when you've got my hook and line now, can I? The good news is, you don't have to do the cooking anymore. I can handle it from here on out. Probably sick of salmon. Nope, sure can't. Chantal and those lawyers of hers said I couldn't talk about them. Supposed to direct all questions to her. Sorry. 2 more things. That Bill Kessler guy's getting bored being the only one around here doing any ice fishing. He wants competition. So if he says anything to you, just remember that Chantal wants you to keep the guests we got happy. Other thing is, a cold snap's on its way. You think it's cold now? Just wait. Gotta be real careful anytime you're outside. So, we done here? And I missed. She can't stand Yanni and thought she was aiming at his window. If you need anything, just holler. Good. Keep me posted. See you later. When Chantal told me you were just a young thing, well, I thought she was pulling my leg. But you're not much older than my little girl Freddie. Chantal has a bad habit of making up her mind without thinking things clear through. No need for you to tell her I said that, of course. Afraid so. Insurance company's giving her and her lawyers a real hard time. Left running the lodge up to me. Which is why I'm not real crazy about the idea of having somebody new underfoot. Especially if something else happens. We're here, so you'll get to prove yourself soon enough. You hear that? Well now, what was that? No, ma'am. Everyone here at the lodge is accounted for. One of his deputies found the knob to the back door clear out on the highway. You sure you don't want to give your daddy a call? Why, I think that's a fine idea, ma'am. Yanni Vokstaya, Bill Kessler, Guadalupe Camillo, and Lou Talbot. I'm gonna be pretty busy trying to get rid of that wolf, Chantal. I'll get you a master key and leave it in your room. If you need anything else, I'll be in the basement. Hey, Nancy, phone. Pick up the phone, Nancy. Nancy, Chantal's calling. Chantal's on the phone, Nancy. When you're done with an order, check off order complete on the ticket, then say order up so I know it's ready. Got that? That's not gonna cut it. Do it over. Do this over and do it right this time. I can't serve this. Make it again. If you think I'm serving this, you're loco. Something don't look right. Do this one again. This ain't right. Why, this looks downright wrong. Oh, now look what you've done. Chantal's not gonna like this. What are you, Nancy? A cook or an arsonist? You don't need an apron when you cook. You need a fire permit. Nobody likes their food that well done, Nancy. Oh, and by the way, don't go adding paprika to Lou Talbot's food anymore. He hates paprika. What in blazes happened here? By the way, you dumped the laundry bag before all the rooms were cleaned, so I put it back up at the front desk. You messed with my rifle, didn't you? You used a bullet to push down the sight pin so I'd miss that wolf. What are you, some kind of bleeding heart, tree-hugging eco-terrorist? Good. You just got yourself an escort off the premises. This fax just came for you. It's from the wacko left-wing wildlife gang that paid you to screw up my rifle so I'd miss that wolf.
Avalanche Patrol, what's your location? There's been an avalanche at Icicle Creek Lodge? You mean you just called to chat? Look, you want to report an avalanche? You call us. You want to chat? You call my mother-in-law. She loves to chat. You want her number? Okay. Anyone injured or trapped? We'll check it out. Thanks for the heads up. Hey, wait a minute. You know Ollie Randall? He's also on the patrol. Do me a favor and tell him that the explosives training in Calgary has been postponed till next month. Sometimes the patrol has to use explosives to bring down unstable snow. Yearly training sessions are mandatory. Ollie'll know what I'm talking about. Appreciate it. I was wondering when we were going to hear from him. Thanks for the report. Like what? I can try. Well, you shouldn't make loud noises or do anything that might cause the snow to shift. Wearing snowshoes is a good idea. Of course, the best idea is to just avoid walking on or below snow-covered slopes altogether. Nope, sure haven't. You have reached Run and Grow Free, a non-profit organization dedicated to making sure that the wild animals of North America remain wild. No one can take your call at the moment because all of our volunteer staff is busy blocking access to California's wilderness areas in order to protect their cougar, bear, and condor populations. But if you leave your name and number after the beep, someone will eventually get back to you. Especially if you want to make a donation.
Right.
Hey, Nancy! I was wondering when your number there was gonna show up on caller ID. This is Tino Balducci. Remember me? From that last train to Blue Moon Canyon we went on? Yeah, I'm the one who helped you find that long-lost treasure. Please, call me Tino. Hey, Nancy, what you need? Hey, Nancy, Chantel tells me she sent you my little survey. So, what do you think? Nancy, hi. You finished with that survey yet? I'm always up. You finished with that survey yet? So what do you need? Hang on. Okay, sock it to me. Nancy, you do that survey over? I'm always up. You do that survey over? Wait a sec. Machine's on. Go for it. Hey, Nancy. I'm still trying to reanalyze that survey data if that's what you're calling about. Oh, well, what do you need? Hey, Nancy. You take a look at my survey yet? I'm always up. You take a look at my survey yet? Nancy, hey. You give that survey another shot? I'm always up. You give that survey another shot? Hey, Nancy. Burning a little midnight oil, huh? I'm always up. What do you need? I'm always up. Chantel tells me she sent you my little survey. Well, you'll be happy to know that I'm working on something that'll pretty much crack this case wide open. But in the meantime, what can I do you for? Oh, sure you don't want a hint of something? Friend of a friend heard about all the problems she was having up there and immediately figured she could use my crime-solving expertise. So I gave her a call, we had lunch, we hit it off, and bingo. I got myself a new client. I have enough. I mean, you go spreading yourself too thin in this business, and the next thing you know, crime out the wazoo. Hey, look, now you're talking. What do you want to know? That is correct. What do you want to know? You sure you don't need a hint or something? Oh. Well, Chantel hired me to be at your disposal, so you know where to find me. Arrivederci. So Chantel sent you my little survey, huh? What do you think? Ingenious? Because Ollie's an employee? Nancy, in my experience, which, let's face it, is far vaster than yours, employees don't do stuff that's going to endanger their jobs. And if these accidents force Chantel to shut down, Ollie'd be out of a job. Ergo, Ollie is not a suspect. Probably right. Let me ask you something. Oh, yeah? Well, tell me this, Miss Smarty Boots. How much is Chantel paying you? Huh? How much? Well, she's paying me. So what's that tell you, huh? That's right. I'm the professional here. So you just fill out that survey, and if you haven't screwed anything up, I should be able to tell you which suspect is capable of the kind of criminal activity we're dealing with here. Got that? Oh, and hey, that paprika thing's real important. You can't just ask them outright if they like paprika, because they'll lie. Who's the professional here? So you're gonna have to slip paprika into their food and see how they react. Got that? Good. Make sure you call me when you're ready to fax that survey back to me so I can turn on my machine. Any more questions? That's what I'm here for. So Chantel sent you my little survey, huh? What you think? That's right. I'm the professional here.
So, you done with the survey? Good girl. I'll just turn on my fax machine here. Okay, let her rip. You messed up somewhere, Nancy. According to the survey you just sent me, the only crime any of our suspects could have perpetrated is jaywalking. Do it over and call me before you fax it, okay? Anything else? According to this survey, one of our suspects regularly breaks into pet shops, which, even if that's true, doesn't help us here. So, this isn't right. From this survey, it would appear that one of our suspects is an expert at holding up taco stands. You're gonna have to do it over, okay? Bad news, Nancy. The survey you send me indicates that the most we got on our hands up there is a litter bug. So you know what you gotta do, right? Correct. Anything else? This survey's not even close. Now, if we were looking for somebody who never wears their seatbelt, we'd be in business. But since we're looking for a possible saboteur, you did something wrong again, Nancy. Nice work, Nancy. According to the survey, our perp is none other than our bird-watching champion snowshoer, Bill Kessler. Oh, I did? Yeah, I guess I did. You know, maybe I just need to look at the survey data from a different perspective or something. Yeah, maybe the answer's there after all, and I just gotta shuffle things around in order to see it. I put it together using this profiling kit I saw advertised on the Detective Channel. It was supposed to be foolproof. You know, I have enough. I mean, you know, you go spreading yourself too thin in this business, and the next thing you know, crime out the wazoo. Oh, hey, before I forget, Chantel said when you finished the survey, I was supposed to pass some numbers on to you. Said it was the combination of something? 7669. Anything else I can do for you? About what? I'm a veritable fountain of hints. I'm listening. You just gotta be quick, that's all. As soon as you see her wind up to throw a snowball, draw a bead on her with your cursor, click, and whomp. You'll nail her. Do that 10 times and you'll be home free. Well, I've obviously never been a maid either. But try clicking on the bed to make it, then use the laundry bag to collect everything that's hanging on the towel rack. Do that for all the rooms that need it, dump the laundry bag down the chute, and next thing you know, you're done. Okay, what you do is, you click on a square that's next to one of the squares that have already been cleared off and uncover some ice. Now, what color the ice is will tell you how many squares around it, including diagonally, are too thin to skate on. So let's say you're going along uncovering gray squares, and you uncover, say, one that's turquoise. That's good. Keep your eyes open for toasty packs. When you're outside, you can use them one at a time to keep warm. The more you can collect, the better off you'll be. Chemical hand warmers. And luckily for you, when it comes to toasty packs, somebody up there happens to be extremely well fortified. Nancy, I could catch a 2-foot northern pike in my sleep. Look, first off, check out the computer in the lobby so you know what a northern pike looks like. Then when you're fishing, just click to get your hook to drop down or rise up. And if you want a really hot tip, just click on the mouth of a fish coming toward your line. Next thing you know, bam, you got yourself a fish. Just keep at it till you catch a northern pike that's 2 feet long. And you'll probably never be as good at fishing as, say, me, but you'll get the hang of it. Most places ask for that information when somebody registers, so check the guest register. It's probably on the computer. Nancy, you're the maid. You of all people should know what side of the bed everybody gets up on. All you have to do is use your eyes. Well, I guess this is one case where you'll have to call her and ask her the questions outright. But only some of the questions, just the ones you have to ask, and only her. And be subtle. If she lies, it'll mess up the whole survey. So don't make her suspicious. Use your imagination. Look, just shoot the breeze for a while. You know, talk about girly stuff. Then say something like, "Boy, you sure sound chipper. Maybe I should start getting out of the same side of the bed you do. What side is that anyway?" And boom, next thing you know, she's telling you without giving it a second thought. Piece of cake. Take a good look at the indentation. Then take a good look around the lodge for something that's the same shape. Once you got an idea what fits there, look all around outside. People are always dropping stuff. Maybe you'll get lucky. Take a good look at the indentation. Then take a good look around the lodge for something that's the same shape. Then, once you got an idea what fits there, take another look at that notebook you found and watch out, because that light bulb in your head should go on. The indentation looks just like the one you saw in the Trapper Dan display, remember? So now that you got an idea what fits there, take a good look around outside. Somebody dropped something that you're gonna find very interesting. Nancy, think about it. You're the maid. You're in the perfect position to get an item they've touched from each of the guests. Like a washcloth, maybe? Nancy, like I said before, you're the maid. Think about it. You're in the perfect position to get an item they've touched from each of the guests. Like a washcloth, maybe? Just keep your eyes open. He's bound to leave something lying around that you can use. Although when it comes to him being the perp, I still say you're barking up the wrong tree. Next, you go into that hut where the wolf hangs out. You give her the notebook, then you start offering her those items until she reacts to one of them by dropping the notebook. If she does that, you'll know that's the person who owns the notebook. Sounds to me like a railroad code. You read it top to bottom and left to right. In other words, go from the first letter in the top line to the first letter in the bottom line, to the second letter in the top line, to the second letter in the bottom line, and so on. Keep going like that and see what gets spelled out. Next, you follow the directions that Trapper Dan guy encoded in his journal, and find the 4 critters that go in those little indentations. You've already got one, or you wouldn't have been able to open the panels. So just find the 3 others, stick them in, and open sesame. First things first, go ask Bill Kessler how to get into that Trapper Dan guy's needle thing. With any luck, you'll eventually wind up with some interesting reading material. Go tell that Bill Kessler guy there was nothing in that pyramid thing he opened. Then do what he tells you. With any luck, you'll eventually wind up with some interesting reading material. All the answers are in Trapper Dan's journal. I suggest you do what that Kessler guy said, and the sooner the better. All the answers are in that Trapper Dan guy's journal. I suggest you take a real good look at it, and the sooner the better. All the answers are in that Trapper Dan guy's journal. I suggest you decode it like I told you. Study it real good and do what it says. It may not be smart to look a gift horse in the mouth, but I'd sure look a gift code in the pocket if I were you. And whatever you find, check it out real good. And I mean backwards and forwards. Trust me, you got this one in your pocket. Or at least you used to. Just check out that note you found real good. And I mean backwards and forwards. Just keep turning the tiles until nothing but pigs show. Okay, so maybe it's a little trickier than that, but just keep at it. You'll do it eventually. Well, first thing you gotta do is turn the top like the billster said. Then here's what I do. Keep turning tiles until they're all one kind of animal. Like, say, all mooses. Hey, look, little Miss Smarty Boots grammar expert. You want to show off, or you want to learn something here? Okay, say you turn the tiles so they're all moose. Now just turn the corner tiles until only, say, raccoons show. When they're all raccoons, turn the corner tiles to, say, pigs. Then the side tiles to pigs. Then the center tiles to pigs. After you got all pigs, turn the second tile in the first column to wolves. Then the bottom tile in the second column to wolves. Then the third tile in the last column. Then the first tile in the third column, and bingo. Problemo solvdo. Okay, first off, think of it as 3 columns that are going to have fish on top, owls in the middle, and rabbits on the bottom when you're done, okay? Now, let's start with the left column. Drop the duck coin first, then keep dropping the coins that fall out until you got the rabbit coin, okay? Now, drop it into the first slot. Because it's on the bottom, the rabbit always starts out at the top. You with me? So now, since you need an owl, use the coin that fell out of the bottom of the column and drop it down another column so an owl falls out. Drop that owl on top of the rabbit, then use the coin that fell out, get a fish from another column, drop it on the owl, and hey, first column's all done. Which means mitts off. Now, keep dropping coins until you get a rabbit in the first slot of the third column. Drop an owl on top of that, and then a fish, and then just keep dropping coins until you get the middle column done. Put the duck coin back where you got it, and that's it. Rabbit, followed by owl, followed by fish. That's all you gotta remember. Sounds pretty nuts, huh? Well, first thing you gotta understand is, Mary was his pet pig. Second thing you gotta understand is he wasn't really talking about finding Mary. He was talking about finding something that looks like Mary. So here's what you do. After you give it a string of commands, send some kind of trained animal into that maze Trapper Dan created. You can watch your progress on that map thing by the stool. You want to send her into the vault that has the arrow going up, as an elevator. Then you go up the ladder and have your version of Mary take hold of the rope and pull till it's taut. Then you skedaddle back to the lodge and check out the boar's head in the stairway leading to the rooms. If you haven't screwed up, it'll be saying, ah, at which point you just reach in and enjoy. Well, I can tell you that if you take a real good look at the necklace that's on display in the lobby, the one with the 6 colored discs and the fire in the middle of it, I think you'll figure it out. And when you do, be sure to give Mr. Raccoon a rap on the schnoz. In fact, that's pretty key. Here's what I think. I think the boxes on that pyramid-shaped diagram refer to those panels you saw on the wall that goes to a place underneath Trapper Dan's needle, 3 of which are still covering keyholes. You with me? And those dots with the geese and the little pig head? I think that means if you play fox and geese using a pig instead of a fox, and you corner the pig, in the moose, pig, and raccoon sections, something's going to open up in each of those parts of Trapper Dan's vault system. Still with me? That's going to allow you to give that intelligent creature of yours a bunch of commands. Then run her into a section of the vault system that's been opened and flip the switch at the end of it. You can watch your progress on that map thing by the stool. Do that for all 3 sections, and the next thing you know, the panels on that wall will all be open and all 4 keyholes will be uncovered. That'd be my guess. Just corner the pig and the moose, pig, and raccoon sections, and you'll be on your way. Good question. So here's what you do. Command that trained animal of yours to go into Danny Boy's vault system and send it into the vault that has the arrow going up, as an elevator. Because now you know that 2 squares around that square are thin ice. So you avoid shoveling off any squares that could be the thin ice, and you shovel off ones that you figure are sure to be safe, until you've shoveled off enough to figure out which squares are the thin ice. When you figure out where a patch of thin ice is, use one of those pylon things to mark it, and just keep going like that until all the thin ice is marked and the rest of the ice is cleared. You're gonna have to use your noggin, but hey, you can do it. Don't be a stranger. Always a pleasure. You need help? Just give me a call. Hey, my pleasure. Later. It was nothing. Ciao for now. All in a day's work. See ya. Helpful is my middle name. Bye. Hey, that's all behind me. Ancient history. Water under the bridge. So, looks like we're gonna be working together on this sabotage thing, huh? Well, look at it. You're gonna be impressed. In the meantime, what can I do you for?
We're sorry. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again. This is a recording.
You have reached a recording. Regretfully, it seems you have made an error while engaging your party. Please disconnect, check the number, then dial again.
Oh, no. Nancy, I am glad to see you. How can I help you? I am glad for the chance to talk once again. There is something I must explain. You are what is wrong. Chantal said there would be no more guests to make noise at all hours and disturb my training. Yet what stands before me? A new guest. Forgive my disgust, but I do not like being lied to. Forgive me. Allow me to start over. In that case, allow me to introduce myself. I am Yanni Vokstaya. I am here to train for the Eastern European Cross-Country Championship. I spend my days doing interval work, drills, and isometric exercises. I follow a strict program, one painstakingly designed by a team of the best coaches in Fredonia. In fact, under no circumstances are you to use your key to let anyone into my room. My competitors are constantly spying on me, trying to steal my techniques. No, what you must understand is this. One can never be too careful, so know this. If anything is missing or so much as out of place in my room, you can expect a visit from me, and it will not be a pleasant one. You must listen! I was outside skiing very fast, as usual, and suddenly, boom! Snow, dirt, rocks, everything went flying into the air right in front of me. There is a mad bomber on the loose. Of course it was a bomb. I saw no one, not before, not after. My competitors bombed the bunkhouse thinking I would be so frightened that I would abandon my training and leave. Only I wasn't frightened, so now they are trying to bomb me. My competitors and the governments behind them, they are as desperate as they are ruthless. They are capable of anything. They can operate anywhere in the world, under all conditions. It would not surprise me if someone right here in the lodge is right now under their employ. No, for which I'm very grateful. In my country, in Fredonia, it is said that the gaze of the wolf will make you go blind. They are creatures of infinite evil, and that is all I am going to say on the matter. What I said before about wolves, it is because my grandmother was killed by wolves. Killed and devoured. Years ago, when my mother was a little girl, her mother, my grandmother, was on her way back from the village on her motor scooter, which was and still is the only means of transportation most Fredonians can afford. It was January, and the sun had just set, and it was dark, very cold. There were thousands of wolves in the countryside that winter. At night they would roam in huge, hungry packs. My grandmother was halfway home when she came upon a young man waving from the side of the road for her to stop. He too had been on a scooter, but his had broken down, and wolves were gathering all around him, preparing to attack. My grandmother, of course, stopped, and he leapt on behind her, and they took off down the road with the wolves, dozens of them, chasing after them. But with 2 people riding it, her scooter was slow, much too slow, and the wolves soon caught up with them. Tormented by guilt, the young man eventually confessed. He went to prison for several years, and the wolves were hunted year-round until the countryside was rid of them. But the damage was done. And so, I'm happy to talk to you about any subject except wolves. About them, I have nothing to say. The college student? Just yesterday I had to slow down to avoid colliding with him. It ruined my whole session. Out of the question. I don't have the time, the equipment, or, frankly, the desire. I am sorry. How do you know about that? I use that radio to communicate with my coaches. It's a special radio. It scrambles the signal so that my competitors cannot listen in. The first night I was here, I searched for bugs, something which, due to the cunning of my competitors, I have become very good at. I discovered that by pushing on the musai, a compartment opened up. When one has enemies, it's prudent to assume that they are always close by. They are here, Nancy. Make no mistake. What I don't know is, did you really open that compartment by mistake, or were you up to something else? How do I know you are not working for them? Who else have you told about the radio? I believe you, Nancy. So if I find out you're lying, both of us will be very sorry. Growing up in Fredonia, training regularly and rigorously in sub-zero temperatures, wearing the proper clothing, that is how I do it. Pluto, that is exactly the point. Pluto stirs up passion and controversy, yet it continues undaunted on its course, as do I. Pluto and I, we are as brothers. This is very true. It will rival the Olympics. As long as I have to train, why not train in the place where I must eventually put that training to use? As we say in Fredonia, I am simply milking 2 goats with 1 bucket. Besides, my competitors will stop at nothing to defeat me. I am forced to seek out and exploit every possible advantage open to me. I told you about the bomb. My competitors will stop at nothing to defeat me. I am forced to seek out and exploit every possible advantage open to me. But to them, I say, "Pah! They do not scare me. I am the best cross-country skier in the world. I will neutralize their petty threats with my excellent strength, skill, and speed." I am sorry. Enough about my problems. Did you want something? And when one of the wolves seized my grandmother's boot in its teeth and started to pull, instead of helping her, the man pushed her off the bike. It instantly gained speed and he got away. My grandmother, set upon by the wolves, did not. As for the little brat out there who is always throwing snowballs, if I ever find out what her secret is, you can be sure I will put an end to it. I take no pride in some of the things I've done to bring victory to my country, but I have no choice. It has been a pleasure. We'll talk again, I'm sure. Come back any time. Kavichinaya. Nancy? I was skiing, but when I passed the needle, I saw that there was a door in it, a door which was open. So I took off my skis to look, and now I am here. What is this place? Lou is the one who has been blowing up things? He is the bomber? You must stay here and guard the bag. I will ski back to the lodge very quickly and tell the handyman to call the authorities. Then I will return. You will be safe? Perhaps I should stay. I will hurry. That is true. Go ahead. I am sorry, but no. Hello? Is someone in here? Hello?